Welcome back, y'all. This is the third episode of Bits and Pixels. We're very happy to be back. If this is your first time listening in, this is a podcast for nerds, by nerds, where we talk about industry, culture, and more. Give you a quick intro. We're your hosts. We have
Baby-faced Kyle.
Short-haired Carlo.
glasses-wearing Brianna.
These are like our alt costumes, like you pick like the same fighter in like a fighting game. It's like
I thought that was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah. So yes, we are your host. Thank you again for joining in. This is the live experience on Twitch, but if you're listening in, thank you for joining. Just want to check in. How are you all doing? It's been some time since we've last did a live stream. You good? Good. Awesome. Well, we definitely missed you all. We're hoping you all had a really good holiday, whatever you celebrate, and a good new year, even though it's been a very interesting year. I hope all of you have been safe and well. We're going to hop right into it. We have a really fun conversation. We are going to be talking about our 2020 favorites, as we mentioned our last episode. But we do want to do our due diligence here and talk a little bit about what happened last week and some things that we noticed. It's been an interesting week, to say the least.
Yeah,
and we feel
definitely.
it's right that we want to talk about a few things. So, yeah, guys, why don't we kick off this quick conversation about some of the things that we noticed last week online with the insurrection that happened at the Capitol building.
Yeah. So not okay. So it's gonna get, slightly opinionated here, for like a couple minutes. But just as a heads up for those of you guys who don't know, on January 6, 2021, there was an armed insurrection incited by the President of the United States to attack the U.S. Capitol building, and honestly, I think that left 5 people dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
One of
5 to
them was
count.
and one of them was a police officer doing his job. And I think, I mean, I don't know. Like for me, it's just like is as a colored individual, doesn't really speak well to me because it makes me feel less safe. And I mean, in this country, and I was born here, but people you don't see that. Oh, born in USA in my head. You just see the skin color. Where you assume I'm from, and people generally think it's Mexico. Fun fact, it's the Philippines, same difference. And one of the things that I just really, I think, like that, all those issues aside, I think there were just things that happened on Twitter alone where people kind of just forgot what common sense was,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, but I think we could talk a little bit more. Specifically, we had a couple things that each of us picked out that we wanted to kind of dive in a little bit into here. So let's go over this Pogchamp thing
Yeah.
with the emote being removed. What was that all about?
So,
Kyle?
so the guy who was the face of Pogchamp, the popular emote across Twitch, I believe his name. I don't know his real name. I know his screen name of Gutex. He was fairly popular in the fighting game community for a while. Basically, put out a tweet that was in support of the insurrection that happened last week. Something about the MAGA martyr, I think, is what it was, like the hashtag that he used. Twitch was very quick to correct these issues, to correct and address this, and removed the Pogchamp emote, which drew a lot of ire from a lot of different people that are that feel like, oh, well, it's freedom of expression and everything. It's not freedom of expression when it's in support of something that is like, I don't know how to explain to people that when you are encouraging violence or something of that nature, that you're not protected by the First Amendment anymore at that point. Like, especially when it comes to private companies, it's private companies have their own terms and service of how they address different things. Twitch is a private company, and if they don't want somebody who is associated with this as part of their platform anymore, they have the right to get rid of that. We saw something similar with Twitter this past week, as we saw Twitter finally ban Donald Trump from using its platform. You know, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're cutting off the president of the United States from his primary source of communication." First of all, the fact that the president's primary source of communication was Twitter is insanity. Insanity to me. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we all use Twitter. I think we all primarily use it to share nerdy things and shit posts and stuff like that. This is the president of the United States who should not be using it the way that he has used it for a long time now. And honestly, and I talked about it a bit on Twitter myself, this should have happened a long time ago.
For sure.
But you get into the talk of like, oh, this violates First Amendment rights. No, it doesn't, because Twitter is a private company and it is allowed to choose who can and cannot be on its platforms. Donald Trump very seriously violated Twitter's terms of service. He's probably done it multiple times now, but this is finally the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. And it's really interesting because like a lot of the people have been, and I think it's really stupid because a lot of the people still have a voice in other areas that are not Twitter. And I think I just find that I find that odd because they're relating it to that First Amendment thing, like you said. But you know, Facebook, Instagram, all those are their own businesses, their own corporations that have nothing to do with with that amendment. In fact, they're very much that's like a free market thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like America doesn't necessarily. I think in what if I learned this correctly, it's a free market thing. America doesn't have any type of connection, law towards them aside from, be cool. And so I think a lot of it is that people, I think it stems from this idea that people have, the government and like elected officials earning money from these platforms. And I think because they're earning like multi-million dollars from some of these platforms, they're like, oh yeah, that's also something that they're in charge too. So that means they're also part of this like whole deal, and like not necessarily, because at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg still owns Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who owns Twitter, but they own Twitter. Google owns YouTube, I think. But who owns Google? Google does. I don't even know who created Google, but there's like. And there may be like elected officials who are earning money from some of the social media issues. I'm not sure how much, if there is any, but it's just that in that sense, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're part of the U.S. government. Like it's
Right.
like the internet is such a free place, because if you want to put it that way, it's like, it's like saying, we have our own website.
Mm-hmm.
Like like a Twitch stream, if you will.
Right.
Like if we have one of our own of those, like as a group of 3 of us who do podcasts, like that. Like it'd be weird if this specific podcast, because it's on the internet, is it owns the White House internet like website. Doesn't make sense, right? Just because they're in the internet, like just because something's in Google doesn't mean it's owned by Google. Just because politicians may or may not earn money or revenue from social media posts doesn't necessarily mean they are connected into the government in terms by law. And I think, and this is like an opinion, and someone is more than welcome to debate that, by the way. But it's just, I think there's a lot of disconnect that people aren't getting with social media, especially since social media, and I think we talked about this earlier, social media is that, like the generation before us, like they didn't grow up with it, and like they were like 40 to 50 and they're like, oh man, social media is really cool. But how about us, right? We were born without it. But we grew up with it,
right?
And then you have Gen Z, the zoomers if you will, the zoomers. They just grew up with it, And so you see like the three different, like generally you see like those three different generations that are in that really weird tumultuous yet transitional period about getting used to social media. And I think a lot of that's going to be um I think that's going to be covered in like a civics course somewhere in America, or I don't even know, but I think you guys get what I mean though, right? Like a lot of people try to tie it, but there's no reason for them to do so.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And as far as like the rest of the stuff with the like the Pogchamp emote, what they decided to do instead of putting it back up there is now they're doing a thing where they have a new Pogchamp every 24 hours, which on paper is a great idea because you can spotlight more creators. However, it has drawn a lot of controversy because of basically Twitch has done a good job, I think, of the creators that they've chosen for it, but they've all those that hasn't done a good job of protecting those creators because they reveal who the new PogChamp is, and then so Critical Bard was the PogChamp a couple of days ago. He's a I've watched some of his stuff. I follow him on Twitter. He's really great. He is a content creator who happens to be gay and black. He got a lot of shit because back when the George Floyd stuff happened this past summer and everything, he was doing a Twitch stream and there was some clips that were taken out of context and some Twitter responses taken out of context where basically people were saying that Critical Bard was a racist against white people after saying things like white lives don't matter, you can't be proud of being white, like that kind of stuff. But when you actually look at the full context of the clip, he's exactly right. You know, you like I believe in the full context of the clip, he says you white lives don't matter because white lives aren't a thing. You can be proud of being Italian, being proud of being Scottish or anything like that, and that's perfectly understandable. But when it comes to black people, again, I'm speaking out of a place of just what I got from the clip. Obviously, I very much a white man, and I'm just talking to what I understand from the clip. He was talking about how uh, black people were taken from a country that they loved, and they all when they came to America, all they knew was their blackness. So that's why it is Black Lives Matter, and proud to be a part of black culture and everything like that. But people who I would assume probably would side with Donald Trump on a variety of issues. That's an assumption. That's me editorializing. I don't know that for a fact. Went on to proceed to harass him all day on Twitter, on Twitch, attempted to dox him. He harassed him on Facebook, like all these different things, like just horrible things for somebody who was completely right with what they said, and it's just disgusting the things that have happened. And I'm not sure. I'll be honest. I have not kept up to see if the other people who have been PogChamp before or after him, if they have received similar treatment as him, or maybe worse or maybe better. I'm not sure, to be quite honest with you. I think of the people that have been the face of the emote so far, he's the only one that I actually follow on Twitter. So that's the only one that I have been aware of. And that's just one aspect of this very gross situation that happened last week.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Kind of a lot of what I think we all saw, because Twitter has that like really easy to put like post out and like put your opinion. Um I just want to quickly highlight like something that I saw that I wasn't comfortable with. And this is completely coming from someone who works in social media, that I often find that during these times of like crises or just like different scenarios that aren't time to sell products, there's these brands just don't know how to read the room. And I will specifically call out a tweet that GameStop put out during the actual a coup attempt at the Capitol building last Wednesday. During the actual event, a tweet went out basically stating that they like were promoting some sort of product or games to buy. I don't know the exact words off the top of my head. I did retweet someone who saved all of the tweets on my account. So if you want to, like, I'll probably retweet those again later, so you can actually see what those say, because think it's important that we call out brands who are still trying to capitalize during a emergency.
I'll try to
Anyway.
pull them up on my end and I can read them out loud.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. So anyway, they were trying to sell, like, products. It's GameStop. They're trying to sell games. So there's two sides of this. Someone who is a social media manager in my like day job, I know that you can pre-schedule tweets, ads, all that sort of stuff. It can be pre-scheduled, and sometimes that happens weeks in advance. So I'm not saying that necessarily the person who hit tweet or scheduled it had a malicious view, because how could they know that at that moment this tweet was going to go out during a national like crisis? They didn't. If it was pre-scheduled, I don't know. If it was, I can see that, okay, this was just unfortunate and untimely. They had followers who then wrote in the comments, hey, this is not the time, to like sell your products or whatever. Just please read the room. It's not the time. Whoever was running the account then went back and said, no, this is the perfect time. And there was an argument about, oh, GameStop is just, they're saying that this is escapism. Like, that's what video games are for, trying to help people out, like escape this like really crazy moment. And there is nothing against playing video games to escape. What is wrong here is that there was an oopsies. You forgot to either unschedule your tweet, or you just out of habit had something to tweet. People called it out.
Mm-hmm.
Said, now is not the time. Please read the room. Like,
and then we
don't know
down.
What's going to happen. They doubled down on it. That's the problem.
So
during a national emergency is not the time to capitalize on selling products.
Right.
And that's all I'll say. It's just not the time. But
I agree. Like, it's just, and the thing, and here's the weird part. Okay, and I used to work at GameStop, which is kind of why I totally agree with everything. Night After Work Live stated, we talking about GameStop, I strongly dislike them. And I'm going to be completely honest, I agree. I strongly dislike them too. But I don't dislike a specific instance or a generalization, if you will. I don't dislike the people that I work with. The people that I worked with, the people that are actually, because like at the end, it sucks because in my opinion, especially as someone who used to work at GameStop, it's such like it's one of those, we're just trying to survive here, and the people made it absolutely like thousands of times better to work there. And I'm just gonna be honest, working at GameStop, if it wasn't for the individuals who I had worked with, would have been very great. It would have been a horrible time without them. But like, that's why I kind of enjoy getting games from GameStop. The people who are in charge of some of the like executive decisions, like the social media posting, it's just, I agree, it's super scummy.
Yeah.
Just trying to get that, and especially like even if you're trying to get that, oh, I guess I need to reply, because the initial tweet, it's like it could have been like, oh shit, we didn't. It's not like we expected the U.S. Capitol to get overrun by terrorists.
Exactly.
They don't expect that. But I think the understanding of like the replies, just that really called it out on like, what are you doing? And I think that's where I agree with you, by the way, in that concept. Like, and kind of goes back to the whole like people forgot how to use social media commonsensically.
Right.
Well,
I think the thing
it
is
is
like
just a brand.
I think the thing is when we talk about like brands and like this is something I think that we all agree on, and this is from talking about, we've talked about GameStop here tonight. We've talked about CD Projekt Red in the past when it came to Cyberpunk. When we are talking about these companies as a whole, we don't mean like the lower level members of that corporate food chain. We are talking about the
Yeah.
people at the top. Going back to the tweets in question, Bree, I tried to go to your Twitter and find it, but it looks like those tweets have been deleted. I don't know
Dang.
why they've been deleted, but I did find a screenshot of like one instance of it just by googling. The tweet itself was if you from GameStop, if you love video games, they'll love you right back with a red heart. And somebody responded, "Sweetie, dot 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 dot. Is right now really the time? Dot 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 dot." And GameStop
Yeah.
replied, "It's the perfect time when you think about."
Yeah, there was so many there was quite a few people who were saying like, hey, not the time, like can you just read the room a little bit? And then as you just read, they doubled down, and that's where the problem lies. I think brands need to really understand when is the time and when isn't the time. And this
100%.
just really talks about American culture in general, because I don't know about YouTube, but I saw a few tweets, and I also personally felt it's like, oh crap, this like something crazy, like there's a national emergency going on, there's a coup happening at our Capitol building. Do I need to like continue working?
Right.
Like, do I? And I'm a freelancer, so it's a little bit like different for me. Like I don't have like
Yeah.
an overhead necessarily being like go go go. But I still had that like feeling of like I still have to get to emails, and I still have to get to like messages that I have from clients. So it's just like I think those tweets, and then the feeling of like, hey, what are we doing? It kind of speaks to our culture a little bit. But
Yeah. Do I
and
have to work during a coup?
yeah,
If you
that's
have to
like
ask that, like,
yeah,
that is just the
that's so
weirdest
messed up.
thing.
It
Like,
is. It
like,
definitely.
yeah, like you sit out for a second, and like when you look at it from like a weird point of view, because I never even thought of that until you brought it up a while ago. It's like, what do you do? Like, oh, look, aliens are invading Earth. Do I still have to work?
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, because I mean, Bree, you and I had been talking like when we were playing games this past weekend, and I was saying like, oh, I had like written a script for like a funny bit that I was going to like put together for the podcast and everything, and like I had just gotten done writing it, and then I turned to Twitter, taking a break in between writing and recording, and then I like looked at Twitter, and everything was on fire basically, and I was like, this doesn't seem like the time to do anything. Like,
Exactly.
Thursday I was like, guys, you mind if I drink? That's how bad that was.
Yeah,
The
Yeah, we
Thursday
had a full
after.
we had a full chat because we were gonna do this episode last week because we planned it, and then Carl's like, "Hey, can we drink?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then it just happened that it was like it just didn't feel
Natural.
it didn't feel right. It didn't feel natural. We decided to not do it last week, which I think was a good thing. And then personally, I like stopped everything that I had planned for my own personal social too. So yeah, interesting times. And then before like we move on to the next stuff, I quickly just want to say there were other brands that I noticed that were doing this too. It wasn't just GameStop. I noticed like publications and what have you also doing the same thing, but this was just an instance that I really needed to call out because not only is it in line with what we're talking about, but that wasn't the time to sell video games. But there was
I
a lot
just
of
assumed it was
other
we hate to love GameStop or we love to hate GameStop, one of the two.
yeah. But yeah, anywho, I know we spent quite a bit of time talking about this what happened last week. So
last thing I want to say about it is like there is a really great tweet that I have seen multiple times from multiple different people that's like, I'm really tired of having to live through major historical events.
Yep.
And ain't that the truth, man? Like it's just it's so tiring. Like we just got done with. I mean, we're not even done with the pandemic. We're hopefully getting close to the end of the pandemic, and now we also have to
Oh
worry
yeah.
about is Civil War II going to happen sometime this year or something?
Oh man.
It's not no ill wishes.
I no ill wishes. Like 2021. It's been a long year already. It's
Yeah.
been a long year. Like,
Yeah.
14 days in, I just want to go back to 2019, right?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm.
I just think, like there were just so many individuals too, like, and I think they caught like they arrested like I think 170 people so far, or like they started up things. And I think one of the things to call out too is that they caught a guy. I think one of the guys that or people, a guy, I guess, that was who had they have investigations on was some dude with a Dishonored tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you tell me more
Yes.
about that?
Yeah, so in one of the pictures that you saw of these bad people lined up at the at the Capitol, you could see clearly on his hand he had the mark of the outsider, which is a symbol from the Dishonored series, on his hand. And then you also had some conservative conspiratorial types on Twitter trying to be like, oh, that's an Antifa symbol. That's an Antifa symbol. And then the creator of Dishonored quote retweeted that and said, I can assure you it is not. And the funniest part about that is, like, if you've played the Dishonored games, like, for somebody to have a Dishonored tattoo on their hand and then attempt to do, like, be working in favor of a fascist, basically, clearly shows that they did not understand the themes of the Dishonored games.
Yeah, and I've never played Dishonored, by the way.
Yeah, I haven't.
Um,
Um,
yeah.
but I can definitely, yeah. Uh, when you see, someone like that, you kind of, what is the word I'm looking for? Take a symbol or take a meaning or maybe not take the right meaning from the game. It can be a little disheartening when you're a fan of that particular series.
It's like, like I guess it's like when you misconstrue Martin Luther King Jr.'s words. And I'm putting that out there bluntly. But I think really, like, especially with gaming, right? I think and I think this is one of those negative instances where, and I say this as the director of esports at Albion College, I just think that, there's a great, like, with the amount of strides that esports has made in the past, like, 10 years, like, even 5 years, but let's just extend it to 10, that they've made, especially since always been plagued as like a negative view of just an individual's personality. Like, I think I think it was like I think we can go back to the Columbine shooting in like the early 90s, when that's where they linked like the negativity of video games, and they've already discredited that theory of negativity of the how video games like was an attributing factor, because like now we have so many games like and the thing is, like, Mortal Kombat is more acceptable, like, as a fighting game, and what that does. There's like you're tearing out people's spines, you're crushing someone's skulls in with with your thighs, like, that's as rated R fighting game as you can get. But
Mhm.
they've been allowing that. They allow Smash, like, I mean, obviously Smash Ultimate is a little more on like the cartoony side, but then you have like darker themed fighting games like Tekken and Soul Calibur. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting a few things, but I mean, like, that, it's just, to me, it's just seeing that out there, right? That just like in a way, it feels like it revitalizes the negative stigma on video games, because, like, again, because of the one person who kind of they just ruined it for for the majority of people, the huge majority of people. And like I said, it sucks seeing that put out there
Yeah.
when we've done so, like, gamers as a whole, esports athletes as a whole have done so much to put video gaming back into the positive light, like, with all the
Mhm.
hiccups it's had on its way here. And so then when you have that one individual just just giving it that negative thought, like, oh man, that's from a video game, I wonder if this is like. And so this is just pointed to everybody. It's like, whether you're on one side or the other, it's just they'll see that symbol and maybe even think video games are bad now, and that's just unfortunate because we know that's not the case, especially with everything that video games has gone through.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll just say here that often it's that particular person, they have photos all over the internet now, and people know their face. But I'm sure there's a lot more, and I've definitely seen some toxicity online in this community, in the anime community, which really sucks. But it's up to really all of us to support one another and like put the good word out there and really make sure that we're speaking up for what's not right. So
Hmm.
let's all be good gamers.
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
good nerds, do the right thing. And if you see someone who's not, if you
Don't be
can,
racist.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
typical things.
Please don't do that.
Be a good
You
person.
know, be a good person, have some humility, all that good stuff. Let's try to uplift our community and not drag it down. But as I said, if you see someone doing that, you know, let it be known. Report it if you have to. If it's violence, hatred, racism, that sort of thing.
Hmm.
Right.
But yeah,
Anyways,
Anyway.
yeah. Thank you for listening to this segment of live action thoughts on how America should do better. We're gonna continue on, I suppose, with a couple other things.
Right.
yeah, we had a little bit of a serious conversation that we needed to bring up again, our due diligence, but we are going to get into the fun stuff that you all have been waiting for. So let's all just do a quick check-in. Let's get into what we've all been up to since the last time we've been here.
Yeah.
What were the last things you guys have been up to since
I
we last
barely
saw each
remember,
other?
to be
Yeah.
honest.
It's fair.
It's been a while. It's been a while. How
All right.
yeah, it's been a while. We did that big break for the holidays, and then obviously we came back from the holidays, and the shit last week happened. So for Christmas, I ended up getting $120 in Steam gift cards. So, and then naturally, of course, the Steam winter sale was going on when I got that. So I ended up getting quite a few games, of which I've only played one of them so far. But the games that I got, during the Steam sale were I got Devil May Cry 5 with the Virgil DLC. I got Disco Elysium. I got Nier Automata. I got Deus Ex Human Revolution. And then finally, the only game that I've really put any time into so far is Yakuza Like a Dragon. That game rules. Let me tell you. That game rules. So, for those that don't know, Yakuza Like a Dragon is the now 8th game in the series. Technically, it is known as Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, but it is technically the 8th game because they did 0 a few years ago as a prequel to 1 through 6. The game features a brand new protagonist, though. It's not the same protagonist from 0 through 6. So, and that new protagonist, his name is Ichiban Kasuga. He is... How do I describe Ichiban? Ichiban really radiates some real Goku energy, but I don't hate him. Like, I hate Goku. Like, I strongly dislike Goku, but I love Ichiban so much. He rules. So they've made some big changes. So previously in the other Yakuza games, 0 through 6, it's kind of like a action beat 'em up type game where it's a lot of like learning like combos and stuff like that. Instead, this game is actually a turn-based RPG. So that is a very, very big difference with how it plays instead. Yeah, I'm seeing that in the chat. That
That's
my
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 garbage.
my hate of Goku is a garbage take. Look, I just prefer Vegeta, who actually has a personality instead of
I
Goku.
mean, I like
So
Vegeta too, buddy. He's the prince of all Saiyans.
Vegeta's just an infinitely better character. We'll get more into that as we get into what I've been watching lately.
Oh,
But so the game moves into this into this turn-based RPG style instead of the classic beat 'em up, and they actually explain why the game is a turn-based RPG rather than the beat 'em up style. Is because Ichiban is a very big fan of the Dragon Quest video game. That's his favorite video game series of all time, so the game is now a turn-based RPG. And you have a lot of moments where Ichiban imagines himself as the hero of a Dragon Quest game. Like there's a moment where you're going to like go do like a mission, and they see like a baseball bat that's like stuck in the ground, like a sword in the stone kind of thing, and your other two party members can't pull it out. But finally, Ichiban walks over and like pulls it out, and like lightning starts crackling off of the baseball bat, and he like lifts it up in the sky like it's like a sword. It's really stupid and really funny. Um, um, so yeah, the Yakuza games in general, but this one especially, does this really amazing balancing act between being a serious crime story melodrama while also being the most wacky thing that you have ever seen. Um, I don't want to talk too much about the story because I want people to go and play it. I'm about 30 hours in at this point, and I think I'm about halfway through the game. I've been doing a lot of like the side quest stuff. Just really, really digging that game. I think about it like at least 10 times a day. Um, and then besides that, really the main thing that I've been doing since the last time we spoke was I started watching Dragon Ball Super. So for background, Dragon Ball Z was the first anime that I ever watched. Dragon Ball Z, of course, is I like to think of Dragon Ball Z the same way that I think about the Beatles when it comes to music. I understand why it's important, but it's not my favorite thing in the world.
oh my god, you have all the hot takes today.
Hey, I mean,
All the hot takes. Next, you're gonna tell me that Ocarina of Time was the worst Nintendo 64 game ever.
I don't think it's the worst Nintendo 64 game ever.
Okay.
All right, all right. So you're good. You're good. You can still be in here.
Pass the test.
No, so I finally started watching Dragon Ball Super. I'm 50 episodes into it of the 130 episode of the entire 130 something episode.
Mind me asking,
Run.
because I've seen it all of it.
Yeah.
What happened in the episode you were just watching? Or actually, where specifically? What issue are they having?
So the very last thing episode that I watched was Whis, Beerus, and Goku traveling to Universe 10 to investigate Zamasu and see if he has the same energy. Why he has the same energy as Goku Black.
All right.
Because I've kind of kept up with Dragon Ball Fighters, I know where this is going. You know, I already kind of know where this is going. As far as who Zamasu is and who Goku Black is and everything. I gotta say I think I'm enjoying Super more than I enjoyed Z. I think overall it's just one of my least favorite things when it comes to long series in anime is filler. Is filler stuff, because don't get me wrong, some filler episodes are really fun, but sometimes like I want to get the main beats of the story. You know, I want to make it through. I want to see what the main story of this is. I don't really want to spend a lot of time with Goten and Trunks got stuck in a ice cream truck and now they're on a different planet, and like I don't that's not the type of stuff that I really want to watch. You know, that's not me. I understand some people who do like that stuff. But when over the past couple of years, I've been trying to catch up with anime overall because I didn't really watch it when I was younger. I don't feel like I want to spend hundreds and hundreds of hours. Like I want to kind of get in and get out and learn what's going on. Why is this the big deal? I like Super a lot. It feels like a very good like popcorn show, if that makes sense. Like it's like I never really have to worry about, oh, how are Goku and Vegeta going to get out of this one? You know, like you kind of know what's going to happen. One of them is going to somehow get stronger than they've ever been strong before, and they're going to outfight the other person. Now, that formula doesn't stay true all of the time. Like, I really enjoyed the fight between Goku and Beerus at the beginning of Super. I thought that was dope. I like Beerus a lot as a character. I like Hit a lot as a character. I think both the and I think the growth that Vegeta had, like, I wish that they would take the same amount of growth that they have made from where Vegeta starts when you meet him in Z to where I'm currently at in Super. I wish they would apply that same thing to Goku. Because Goku feels to me like the most static character that has ever existed.
Cough.
Am I wrong?
I agree.
Am I? Yeah, I was about to say. Am I
agree.
wrong? Like, because please tell me if I'm wrong on that. Like, because the thing about Goku is he's big, dumb, fighty man who gets stronger every time he fights. And
no, but he has kids though. It's fine.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I
Look, I agree only because, like, you know, growing up with this as a kid, I actually used to think, like, when Goku turned Super Saiyan, I was like, yeah, he's really cool. And, you know, that took him, like, 69 episodes to get done with that fight. But then Vegeta turned Super Saiyan, but it's just, like, I started being a huge fan of Vegeta in Z when he turned, I don't know why, but it was when he turned Super Saiyan against Android 19. Like, I was like, man, Vegeta's kind of a dick. But then that happened, and I was like, "Oh, he's a smug dick." And so he just did his thing, and he was really cool. I mean, he was kind of an asshole, but Vegeta just, you see, then like keeping an eye on that progression when you actually go back to his character. I agree with you wholeheartedly. He turns from like, I want to destroy the world, and then into, I'm going to destroy Bulma's womb. Like, I'm going to have a child here on Earth. You got
That's not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were going to talk about the fact. I thought you were going to talk about the part where Beerus slaps Bulma and fucking Vegeta goes nuts. Like, so
that's also what I want to go to that as well.
So, yeah,
because that's the character development. Because, like, you know, like, not even then, like the Buu saga too. You'll see snippets of that where like he gets mad at Goku because Goku, being an idiot, was like, "What if I gave you Bulma?" And then Vegeta's like, "Kakarot, how dare you!"
Yeah,
and then that's my wife. He was like, "Yeah, but he's not gonna go for Chi-Chi." Like, but Vegeta is starting to come into that defense, and then you saw Majin Vegeta, like that contrasting personality, and yet they still had that same Vegeta instinct. Like, he still had like his fighting instincts, but then, like, you know, that last part where he's just like gonna sacrifice his body and soul to take out Buu, which, by the way, stupidest sacrifice ever. And but sorry, I get really excited about this. But then, like, just you see the changes that Vegeta has, and I agree, he has the best change in a character that I've ever seen in an anime, and like it's super apparent, especially between the Buu saga going into Super, because you see Vegeta just do so well with that. It was like, and that's why I kind of hated GT, because I went to the Buu saga to GT, which didn't make sense because they didn't have like a nice progression into it. I think it has that nice progression going into Super, and honestly, Super just has characters where I didn't think I'd hate them as much as I hated Cell. And then I hated them, and I was like, wow, this guy is a complete douche. And like, you wouldn't think that, but then the more like you see just Goku struggling and Vegeta getting his like shit wrecked, the more you see that, you're like, wow, I really hate this person. And then they'll talk, and then they'll just go on their plans with like, I hate everybody, and or whatever, screw the world, and or the universe in this case. And then you're just kind of like, yeah, somebody kick his ass. And that's the character. I like that. I like actually seeing like Dragon Ball Super do so much better in that sense.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I've got. Before we move off of Dragon Ball Super, though, I do have to point out CQ Coffee's comment here in the chat saying Goku's not static. Look how fast he's teleporting away from his family, and that's the most accurate thing I have ever heard.
Oh, man.
Goku's a terrible father.
Why do you think Piccolo is so cool?
Yeah. Piccolo is Gohan's real dad.
Yeah.
Like,
just without the green skin, you know?
I mean, what is it during the Cell saga where he gives Cell a fucking sensu bean for while Gohan's fighting him? Like, dude.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Stupid. Goku sucks.
I don't really watch it, and I know Goku sucks. Bye.
Oh man, I don't know how to respond to any of that. Goku sucks. This is the Goku Sucks podcast.
Goku sucks.
Goku sucks.
That is the anime opinion that I will defend until I die. Goku is awful.
Hi guys, welcome to the Goku Sucks podcast.
I hope you're having a good night. You know, happy January 14th, aka Happy New Year. A new year. It's the year of hating Goku and saying he sucks.
All my homies hate Goku.
all the real ones hate Goku. You know,
just kick him out of the big three. We don't need him.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. But like, in fairness, though, in defense of Goku, I think Goku, at the very least, like, he does have a weird lovable style to him, which is why he doesn't really actually suck. In my opinion, like, he's still pretty like okay. I think
maybe like
he has that typical like people are gathered around him for some reason and we don't know why kind of thing.
I mean, if I'm ranking the big three as far as like lovability of character, it's Naruto number 1 with a bullet, it's Luffy number 2, and then Goku number 3. Actually, Goku be number 5, maybe not even on the list.
Because at least Naruto, like, I don't know. At least Naruto became Hokage. And
Naruto has growth as a character.
Hey, no spoilers. We got some people in here. We got some people in here.
He died.
Naruto has growth as a character, and you can see it throughout the series. Even like
he's just a good boy, you know.
Even I, I have not even finished regular Naruto, I can straight up see in the episodes that I have seen that he grows as a character. Yeah, he's very adamant about his love of Sasuke and he's not going to give up on Sasuke and that kind of stuff, but there's depth to that character that's just not there with Goku.
That makes sense. I can't say much on Dragon Ball Z because again, I've only watched some episodes here and there. Not really my thing, but yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
The big three conversation is probably for another day, and it's very heated. So I don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really what I've been up to.
Sweet. Well, if we cool with rolling right into what I've been up to. Gotta be honest, I've been a little bit slower this last week in terms of like watching and playing some things, especially playing video games. I've kind of slowed down on that this week. But before, during the holidays, I had finished a really, really wonderful anime called Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. I don't know if that is familiar to either of you two or anyone who is watching or listening.
It's really interesting.
Say it 5 times fast.
No.
Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. It's a long one. But I feel like manga or anime that have okay, this might not be true, but for this case, those that have a longer name, this one has a really long name. It's very good. The episodes are only 12, 13 minutes long, so it goes by really quick. It is based off of a manga, and it's basically premise is it's a skeleton man, Honda-san, who works at a bookstore, and he works with some really other kooky co-workers who either wear a mask or they wear a pumpkin over their head. it's just a really fun cast of characters, and it just gives you a glimpse of a bookseller's day in the life selling books in Japan, and it comes with really funny conversations between the employees and the patrons, as well as the employees with publishers and the people who sell books for publishers. So I definitely recommend it. I think it only has 12 episodes, not a lot. It's on Crunchyroll, I believe. It's on one of the streaming services. It goes by really quick. There's only one season so far, which I really hope that they get to a second one soon. But that is the most recent anime that I have finished. And right off the bat, I will just say, if you at least give it a try, episode 1 is just full of gags and giggles. So do yourself a favor, and if you want a good time,
I'm
it's your show.
looking at images of it right now. Very interesting art style. Like, it almost looks like kind of like Adult Swim comedy kind of like art style. It's
Yeah, I mean, it's got really like, I feel like it just has like a rawness to it.
yeah.
I haven't read the manga, but I've picked it up a few times at like the comic book store because I do want to buy it. But it has kind of that like really sketchy kind of
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say not complete, but it just has more of an edge or like a rawness to it that some animes and mangas just don't. It's just a different art style, but I think it really lends itself. If you're also the type of person who loves really complicated animation in your anime, then you may think that the animation for this show is not good. It really kind of is true to the manga. Like it's more, it feels like it's more based on the panels. Like there's not a whole lot of animation. There's more dialogue, which makes it more interesting in my opinion. So there's nothing too crazy happening with the animation. You know, they'll still frame on Honda-san's face or a patron's face for a couple seconds, and they'll have some dialogue in between. So there's not like crazy animation going on.
Right.
So I'll say that it's just a different style, but it's very funny. So I definitely recommend it. And then again, I haven't been watching like too much, but there is a lot that is coming out this year that I am very excited to watch. I'll just name a couple. I really am excited to watch Skate the Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be able to watch it yet because it's on Funimation, and Funimation doesn't have a free like version to watch their episodes like Crunchyroll does. Whether they implement anything like that between the merge or the buyout, whatever it is that they're doing with Crunchyroll, I don't know. So maybe I'll be able to see it in the future. But right now, I'm not. I'm just seeing what's on Twitter. The other one I really want to see is Wave. That looks really good. I'm not really a sports anime person, but this year I think it's going to turn me into a sports anime gal because there's some really good ones right now.
You should, since you're on the sports anime topic, believe it or not, there's this anime called Cross Game. It's a baseball one.
Oh.
And it is honestly the saddest yet sweetest anime. Like sweet as in terms of like it's heart-touching sweet. Like
Okay.
Like it's
I'll
really
think about
nice, and I actually like the art style. It just reminds you of like just 1980s, 1990s with like a lot cleaner of a you know edge. Also, Haikyuu.
Yeah,
is cool.
Yeah,
My-
that's a big one.
my best friend CJ, they started watching Haikyuu recently, and I watched a couple of episodes over at their place. Like they started over for me because now I think they're all the way caught up, but I'm not 100%. But
Yeah.
they love the volleyball boys.
Yeah, I think that'll be me. I have not watched Haikyuu yet. It is on the list. I just haven't gotten to it. But my personality is I will watch it and I will simp for all of those boys.
All I'm gonna say is, if you like that, you're probably gonna like Free, and it's the most over-sexualized male in an anime I've ever did see. And I know that didn't make sense as a sentence, but yeah, if you're gonna like that, you may as well check out Free.
Okay.
Just cause.
What is it? What like is it sports as well? What is it? Give me
Swimming.
a premise. Swimming.
Swimming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because last time y'all told me to check something out and didn't give me any premise, it did not go well. So
Oh yeah, I mean, Free's just not good. It's super overhyped, and it was just it. And yes, like things that are over sexualized loses its luster. That was one of those things, and I'm not. And I know it doesn't look great because it's like, oh, it's one of the few male ones that have been, like that. But it's kind of one of the ones where like they didn't do it right. I
mm,
felt like they didn't really build up a plot as good, and they made some of the female characters not as strong-willed. Even though I know it's about swimming,
Hmm.
about the men's swimming team in high school. Which, by the way, those guys look a lot older than high school, so I call bullshit. And yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I think it was just really like I think you'll like it if you're down for the thirst. If you're not down for the thirst, then don't watch it. You don't have to worry about it. But like, I wouldn't see why not. I know so many people who have watched that, and they would tell me about it.
I think
all
the
right.
closest to a sports anime that I've seen all of is probably Megalobox. Megalobox is very, very good. It is a boxing anime. I say closest thing because it's like there's a lot of sci-fi elements to it because the biggest sport of the future is Megalobox, and it's like boxing except everybody also has like these things called gear, which is basically like robotic enhancements that they add on to the boxing gloves so that way they can punch, as Daft Punk would say, harder, better, faster, stronger. You know, it's really, really good. The soundtrack is amazing. It was actually the year, it wasn't last year, but the year before, Megalobox. The soundtrack to it was actually my most listened to music of the year on Spotify. Was the OST for Megalobox. It's
Hmm.
really, really good. Yeah, Megalobox is one that I recommend to a lot of people because it's very short. There's only one season of it. I think originally it was supposed to only be one season, but now they're coming back with a season two. I don't know how to feel about it. On one hand, I'm like, yay, I love this show. But on the other hand, the ending of that one season, like it's only like 13 episodes or something like that, it was such a good just arc, and it was good starting and ending point for like a series. So there's,
I see what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
that
very,
makes
very
sense.
good though.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. I think this is gonna be the year of sports anime for me, probably.
Wasn't so like the last year was isekai ones, right? Like
There was
another
a
world one,
there was
or
a
am I
lot of
skipping a year?
isekai. Uh, I don't know. I can't speak on that, but I do feel like I did see a lot of isekai anime manga come up last year.
All right.
Um, so who knows? I'm sure that trope will continue. That is a really popular genre.
Mhm.
Um, catching up in terms of what I've been playing, the time that I have been able to, uh, got to play a little bit more Calico, and I will say it is as cute as I thought it was in the first 15 minutes that I played it
Good.
the first day. It is. I have some wonderful screenshots from that game.
Please
And I
put it in
wish
Discord.
I need to grab them from Steam, but they're you get to basically just like roam around and there's a bunch of cute little animals and you're recruiting cats into your cafe so people can play with cats at your cafe basically. But you can pick up any and all of the animals. You can walk up to a like a mama polar bear and pick her up of your head and just like it's cute. I don't know. That's not a really good sell for that game, but it's a really, really, really adorable
Wait, you
game.
said like a mama polar bear above your
Yeah,
head?
you can. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you
You
can
heard
pick up.
right, sir.
You did. You did. If you want to be, if you miss, if you're into like zoo stuff, I don't know, but if you like cute cuddly things,
The
this game is for
implication,
you.
the implication of the physics of this world
It makes no
are
sense.
like, are the polar bears super light or are you super duper strong? Is everybody Goku
Mm.
in Calico?
Mm.
Yes.
Mm.
No, I
Hot
don't
take.
know. That
Uh,
does.
Everybody's
am
better than
are
Goku.
is my fluffy, super cute fairy like gal Goku find out.
Yeah, probably.
The next episode of
Probably
Pokemon.
better than Goku.
Yeah, it's just adorable. I have some screenshots of me riding on a giant cat down the mountain, so that's great.
Amazing.
It's just
Don't
a
know
really
why that-
relaxing. It's a really relaxing game. It's similar to Animal Crossing because it's like a community simulator, but I feel like it's more relaxing. Like the overall feel, the look, the colors. And you don't necessarily have like sell all these materials so you can pay off my house and get a bigger house. Like there's nothing really like that. So overall, just fun. And then a little bit of Genshin playing. I really slowed down on that. I know we talked before we even started recording. We've kind of slowed down a little bit. I'm doing the Sealy treasure hunting event right now, so I think I'm about 40 coins away from getting a little Sealy. So
I got it all.
you got them?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like
want
it?
Actually, I think it's kind of cute. I don't know why. It's just they have.
That's the only reason
like-
I'm doing it.
I for some reason like, what do I choose? You're only allowed to choose one. Yeah, I know. What do I choose? And then I read the effects, and there's literally nothing. I was like, oh, but it looks nice. And I'm like, I guess so.
Yeah, I thought that too, but the yellow one, that like it has something about Mora in the description, so that leads me to believe like could that potentially have like some sort of effect, or I don't know.
I have not played Genshin since the 1.2 update dropped, and I was literally like, I logged in, got all those free wishes, rolled like shit on those 32 free wishes that I got, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and put this down. And then Christmas came around, and I got all those Steam gift cards, and now my life has been consumed by Yakuza.
Honestly,
sense.
like it's been keeping me very sane from any competitive gaming or like any work. So like, cause I consider like it sucks because I consider like games that I used to have fun with. Like I still do have fun, like, but I don't want to play them every day. Like I love Smash still, but I can't play Smash as I can't enjoy Smash like I used to because I'm still trying to figure out how to not do it for work. I can't play Rocket League for fun because I'm always going to be serious about it in some way, shape, or form. Can't do League. Can't do Overwatch, especially Overwatch. God help me. Like, I hate that game.
You wouldn't have done Overwatch anyway.
No, exactly not. No way, man. I'd rather jump into a vat of acid.
Oof.
It's a Rick and Morty episode. Anyways,
the vat of acid plan, Morty.
Oh, the vat of acid plan, Morty. And I think it's just so hard to like to just justify. Yeah, I'll play Genshin and hopefully not spend money, but also I want all the waifus and or husbandos in the world. Like it's kind of hard not to do that, but at the same time, I've been feeling guilty for using it as a brain softener, for lack of a better phrase. Like it's just where I just don't want to like think about things, right?
Yeah, well, I feel like that's like you kind of choose what you want your gameplay to be like, so I wouldn't feel bad. Genshin's fine. It's got plenty of people playing it, so.
And I think the thing is too, where like the three of us who all are in various stages of trying to make something nerdy and video gamey or anime related like part of our like career and stuff like that, there's got to be a way for you to be able to separate the work aspect of that from the play aspect of it, right? Like it's hard. You have to find the things that like make you relax, and it's just, sometimes it's easier than others. I know there have been times where I've been doing reviews for games like that, of games that I really, really liked, but like are not necessarily like super into, like I feel very tense like while I'm playing it. I'm like, why am I doing that? Like this game is literally like basically like half a visual. I'm talking about like 13 Sentinels, for example. Part of me was tense because it was the first review I had ever done, and I chose a JRPG. That's a bad idea. If you want to do reviews, don't make your first review a JRPG. That's a mistake. That is a mistake. I love that game.
I can second that.
But there's this feeling of tenseness the entire time because you're on the clock, so to speak. Even though this is a game that you would otherwise like, you gotta find a way to separate the two. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, anyway, so I will quickly just kind of run through what I've been reading, and then Carl, if you want to get into what you've been doing. I just particularly have been reading multiple different manga series. I get a lot of my manga from the local library. Um, definitely support your local libraries. They have some great stuff. And the one here, yeah, and it's free. You just gotta be a little patient. So I put holds out every couple of weeks or so. So I'm currently waiting, I think, on 7 different volumes right now to get from the library. But I kind of just pick up some different ones here and there, and find some that I enjoy, find some that are like okay. But anywho, so I've just been reading a lot of different random ones from the library. I'm waiting on Yona of the Dawn, because that has been gaining a lot of popularity again. And a lot of people, you remember it?
I swear to God, okay, and I'm sorry. I thought I was the only one who knew about that, and I still see it on my
No.
Instagram every now and then. And you brought, I was
No,
like, oh my God.
it's like having a thing right now. I follow a lot of people in like the manga review space, and I'll just give like a little shout out to Mama Loves Manga.
Okay,
She
thanks.
she's great. I find a lot of different new and older manga to read from her, and she was reading Yona of the Dawn, and that made me pick it up. And it probably is available at your local library because it is an older series. I had no trouble finding it, so that's what I'm gonna be starting. And then lastly, I just got the Viz app, a Shonen Jump membership, so it's like $1.99 a month, and they have a huge library of like a lot of their manga licenses and like Shonen Jump series, of course, that you can read with your membership. Some of them you have to buy. But I have been reading. I read all of Demon Slayer. I will say that. I'll talk more about that later. But I read all of it in a couple of days. So
Okay. Now I have to finish it too.
so
Good.
It's so good. Okay, I'll stop. Anyway.
Since we're talking about anime, my wife and I invested. That's funny. We got an HBO Max subscription, and it came with like all these cool things. And I thought something that was really interesting. If you really like anime movies, specifically from Studio Ghibli, that's there. All of the on HBO Max, all of the Studio Ghibli movies are on HBO Max, and they also have more than just that. They have the recent movie that came out like this past year or something. It was Promare, Weathering with You, another Makoto Shinkai film. For those who know him, they've got like some really good stuff on that. I've only watched, honestly, I've only rewatched Spirited Away, which, by the way, is still a great movie. God, timeless classics. I hate saying it's a classic. That was my childhood. Yeah, but like there's a lot. They actually have a really great selection compared to Amazon Video, by the way. Which, come on, Twitch and Amazon, step up the game. But yeah, if you guys are interested in that, this is not a cop out or anything because we're not getting paid for it. It's just, HBO Max does kind of have some cool anime to check out. And if you want that and a free football subscription for ESPN or something like that, like the NFL, since playoffs is here, and this is my non-video game, unless we're talking about Madden, my non-video game part of the night.
Mm-hmm.
So Green Bay Packers have made it to took the bye in the playoffs. They're going to be taking on the Rams, has one of the best defenses in the league. Green Bay has one of the best offenses, or actually the best offense in the league. They're going to be facing each other on Saturday. I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan. There are two people actually. Amon Green is is a former Green Bay Packer, and I thought this was really cool. And he follows me on Twitter now. He's also an esports coach and director here in Michigan, in the Upper Peninsula, I believe. So that was really cool when I found that out, and I kind of looking forward to working with him in the state of Michigan for esports and stuff. It'd be so exciting. And there's another one. I haven't been able to get him to sign my cheesehead, but he's a huge anime fan. He's not in the Green Bay Packers anymore. It's been like a couple years, and I'm old because I turned 29 this year, and I forgot. But he loves Dragon Ball Z, by the way.
Let's get him on and get his opinion about Goku.
Yeah, let's get a professional. He doesn't play for the Green Bay Packers anymore. And kind of connecting to my last thing, Shirami Lee, my favorite voice actress, signed my cheese hat because she is also a Green Bay Packers fan, and I got a picture with her and like an interview and everything. But she's super sweet. She's super nice, super down to earth, super pretty, super amazing. Like, I don't know if you can have like a not perfect person. Like, she's like, you go talk to her and you're like, you feel like an asshole because she's so nice. Like, she's great. The reason I brought her up is because she does do the voice of Female V in Why did I say that wrong? Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk.
Kyle's favorite game. But
I got no problem with it once they fix it.
Fair enough. And it's one of the things that I'm going to be playing I'm going to start kind of going back off. I'm backing off of streaming and I'm focusing on the podcast and a little bit of personal streams, and I'm going to just shift a lot of stuff towards recordings of Let's Plays and starting up voice stuff on my end, because I've got a huge amount of work for me at Albion College, just doing a lot of the recruitment for esports and stuff like that. But going back to Cyberpunk, yeah, she's the voice of Female V, and when you become a fan of someone's voice work, I think it's a pretty natural thing, and I think it is. Okay, I'm not crazy. I think it's a natural thing. You'll actually like enjoy some of the things that they've done or do. It's because like when you become a fan of someone, as long as you're not like a blind, fan of someone, like storming Capitol blind, it's okay to actually enjoy. Sorry, it's okay to actually enjoy and like appreciate some of the works that they do. And she's a really good voice actress, the voice actress of Asuna in Sword Art Online. She's the voice of Rhea in Fire Emblem Three Houses. I know, really weird. She is the voice of Michiru in Brand New Animal, and so she's the voice of Female V, and so you see like a huge vocal voice range for that, and that's kind of why I got that game initially, and that's going to be a part of those recordings too, next to The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2. That didn't deserve Game of the Year. Anyways, I've been playing Genshin as well, and I've been
it was
the transition. No, yeah, I've been playing Last of Us Part 2. That didn't deserve Game of the Year. Anyway, I've been playing Genshin.
I mean, I think there are a few games that deserve Game of the Year that wasn't Last of Us Part 2. It's either Animal Crossing, it's either Genshin Impact, or it's Persona 5 Royal. Those, honestly, in my opinion, had a way better chance of being Game of the Year.
I mean, honestly, Hades, of the ones that were nominated, Hades or Ghost of Tsushima should have won it.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah. Okay, I did forget a few things. No, okay, I can agree. I would accept those. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Genshin. I finished the 1.2 update stuff, and then, like I said, it's been a nice just cathartic thing where I get to just focus on me, and then like get to hang out with friends through it, but like it's not competitive. And I think that's a huge divide from a lot of the esports things, because like at every level of esports, I'm beginning to notice that it's not just competitive in the gaming sense. It's competitive in the recruitment, and I should have known this. It's competitive in the recruitment, in the lab spacing, like the paperwork that you have to do. Like there's competitions for every small detail to make sure like it's perfect, because you got to compare all of those things to other schools. And I feel like, someone who's just new in the job I kind of have a lot of things cut out for me, but at the same time, it's like I have those experiences to kind of focus through. That's kind of why I like Genshin kind of lets me like stop thinking about all those things. Um, so yeah, Ganyu is out, by the way, and then just a couple minutes ago, the Paimon Twitter tweet birds.
Yep.
It put out the thing where the next event is coming up, and again, more chances for Prima
Already?
Gems and all that whatnot. Yeah, I know, right? Well, it's because
Dang.
the treasure one was kind of a mini event,
Yeah.
which whatever, free stuff, which is okay, and I got a weapon out of it. I think no, that was the dragon spine. Anyways, it's still like I think it's nice because they're doing these small things to kind of keep people in the game. And I haven't really heard anything bad about Genshin. I mean, aside from people saying, "Oh, I'm bored of them," like, that's fine. It can be.
I think the most
There's
negative thing that I've heard about Genshin is people are really not fans of the microtransactions and how predatory they can be.
oh yeah,
Like if you're not like us and really engage in like figuring out all the different ways that you can earn the currency in game without spending any money, then you're not really going to be earning enough Prima Gems to be making a lot of wishes, and you're never going to really be able to get all of the characters. You know,
yeah,
I feel like the three of us are kind of an exception where it's like we do a lot of the research and we talk to each other about like, oh, you should do this thing, and this thing, and that way you'll get enough Prima Gems you can make another wish and you can try to get the next character kind of thing.
Genshin's not a drug, I swear. Um, I've been watching and kind of just jumping around because I've got ADHD.
Same.
I'm Thank you. We got like I'm planning on watching ReZero and Toradora only because ReZero I promised myself I was gonna watch it, and it's been 3 years since I made that promise, and then 2020, the end of 2020 came around, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this, right? So I think that's gonna be one of my goals, watching ReZero with a few people that I enjoy. Which, by the way, if you guys want to watch ReZero with me, just let me know. So there's gonna be that, and I need to actually watch because I watched this, but I never finished it. I need to watch Toradora because that's also a pretty good anime from what I've heard as well, and especially kind of cheating and seeing the ending a little bit. So I kind of ruined that surprise for me.
I'm actually not familiar with Toradora. Can you give me like a brief summary of like the idea?
So Toradora is for it's these two people. It's a guy and a girl.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's name is Ryuji, I believe. And the girl's name is Taiga, and they actually symbolize the palm top tiger and like Taiga being the tiger,
Mm-hmm.
and Ryuji, a more Japanese term for dragon,
Right.
or something. I'm pretty sure that's the name. How it goes. But basically those two like other people. And so they kind of help, like, kind of hijinks kind of ensues, all happens, and then they kind of promise to help each other with trying to get, because the people that they like are the respective person's best friends.
Okay.
So they try to help each other get with the other person, and it just turns into a grand old time. But yeah, and then it's a huge. I think it's a love pentagon. Yeah, it's a love pentagon because I
Jeez.
think you just without going into any spoilers, there's 5 people in it, so have fun with that. So I heard it's great, and then in the English dub, the one of the bigger reasons that I wanted to rewatch in English is that Cassandra Lee Morris is the voice of Taiga, and the main female protagonist, and one of the secondary main. I guess she's a secondary main. Erica Harlacher voices one of the other. There's a blue-haired chick. I forgot her name, but she voices her, and she's part of like that main 5 of the people. So I kind of like, as a fan, I feel like, oh, I should probably actually watch because they both do, and I'm pretty sure the other 3 I just cannot remember the names. But they do a lot of the dubs have just improved within the past 5 years, that I've been starting to appreciate that more and more. And I think because the English language is starting to actually hold like some kind of value to me in that sense. that's a different discussion, but it's just nice. It's nice to actually start watching anime in English. I mean, I'm not saying I won't watch subs every now and then. I just think dubs have been done really well lately, and
they've
Mm.
I'm okay with that.
they've definitely improved.
Yep.
Yeah.
One
Agreed.
and something that has some really good voice too. That actually, it's not actually anime. I'm watching this thing. It's kind of, and it's really cool. It's a really cool concept. If you guys, it's on Netflix. If you guys have ever heard of Love, Death, and Robots,
Mhm.
that is some trippy shit.
It's
Cause it's
odd.
got, it is. It reminds me it's like I love anthologies.
Hmm.
Mm.
Because sometimes like to get like in like the history of writing, like sometimes all you have to do is write a simple thing to get your point across and it just gets there. Like it's like those simple 6-word sentences, like a 6-word story. It's like all you have to do, like I don't have an exact example for it, but Love, Death, and Robots is kind of similar to that because they have this, it's just a story of just individual people. Like these stories have nothing to do with each other. That's what an anthology is. Like they have nothing to do with each other. Like there was one where it had like this, and oh, and the animation is different by the way. But there's this one that had like this Borderlands styled art, and there's just these two salesmen who are just on the car, like on the road, but then they're taking a break on the side of the road, so they go to bed. But then all of a sudden, these jellyfish and fish just come out of nowhere, but they're spiritual. And
Oh
so, but one of
yeah.
the
I
salesmen
remember this.
is like, the younger one was just like, "Oh shit, this is so cool," and he starts swimming up, and it's so pretty, right? But the older gentleman was just like, something's wrong. Looks behind him. There's a spirit shark like 10 feet behind him. Doesn't see him, but he sees his younger cohort about just swimming with the fishes, and then the shark just he's trying to warn him, and the shark just asks like stop, and then the shark just destroys him and eats him up, and then he's just gone. Like because his body, and you see like the transition between him turning into like a spiritual essence for some reason like just happen.
Hmm.
And so like his the older cohort just sitting there and like dumbstruck, and he's like, what the he's gone. And I thought it like, and that's not even one of the better ones. I just thought it was really cool how they have, and that's because that's where it ends. Like it's so cool because the title of Love, Death, and Robots it's also a great what's it called? It's a great foreshadow
Hmm.
or like a hint to say like, oh yeah, all the episodes are gonna have at least something to do with one of these three things, or all of them, or both of them, or some of them, whatever.
Mm.
And I thought it was really cool that they did have that theme of like, because that was just like love and death right there, because he was like enjoying stuff. But then there's another one where I was like, then we're going back to like the different animation styles. Like this one was a fighter, a mental fighter, I believe. Like I think she like controls like a robot or like a humanoid esque alien robot thing. Which had, I know those words had no sensical reasoning behind it whatsoever. Um, but she has like scars on her face, like as a human being, and you know, she is just kind of like checking on her like prized fighting thing, because that's the way that her and her team has been surviving their entire life. And so her and someone kind of just comes in and like tries to like kill her. And the great part about it is she ends up inside of her actual humanoid being through plan, and slaughters the two people who wanted to get her killed in the first place. And so that was like, and she was like led in on to believe that she was cornered and stuff, but then they were like, yeah. And the lady was just like, I'm not scared because I have this kind of like thing. But like it was really cool. That wasn't a great description of it, but it was because there's a lot to that episode. And I thought like every episode of these have been just so great. Like, and there's one more that's funny. And it was basically where I think they tried to there's these three robots going on a tour, to a planet, and then basically at the end, again, different animation style. Basically by the end of the tour, they found out that the planet was taken over by cats. I'm not even kidding. It's that great. Because
Yep,
that's Love and
sounds
Robots
about
right
right.
there. And they're like, what do we do? So, yeah, so I can go on and on about that. It's such a great show. I watched it with my wife, and honestly, it mind blows. It's such a mind blow to you because you're just like thinking about so many things, and that's one of those like shows that I really think if you have the time, the energy, and the Netflix account that you can borrow from your friends or family, you should probably watch the show, Love, Death, and Robots. Okay, so yeah, Genshin recording on YouTube. It's The Last of Us Part 2, 13 Sentinels, and Cyberpunk 2077. I have been playing a lot of Smash lately, and I was able to get one game of Among Us before the year came in. So, lastly, I've been reading a lot of the Nagatoro-chan stuff. It's like, please don't bully me, Nagatoro. Good times. It's a really cute one. I think the next chapter should be coming out today or tomorrow, or later tonight or tomorrow, not sure. And I'm still reading through the book of esports to kind of learn more things about that. So, yeah, sorry I went on that tangent for the Love, Death, and Robots thing.
No, you're good, dude.
It's a good show, man. It's a good show.
Seems like a very super interesting show that I'm gonna have to check out for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. I actually saw the whole thing too. I think you'll enjoy it. But why don't we? Oh yeah, it's good. Well, we've gone through what we've been up to. We are going to take a quick break. So sit back, enjoy the music that we're going to be playing, and we will be back with our 2020 favorites.
Yep.
Everybody, thanks for sticking around during our break. Hope you enjoyed those lovely tunes by our very own Kyle here. Woo 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 woo. Good stuff. So
Yo,
here here is the fun part of the conversation that I know that you've all been so eager to listen for. So we're gonna
the
go.
last section was fun.
Oh, well, I mean, it was fun, but like,
this is even funner.
This is even more fun.
Yeah.
This is the best part. We're changing our name to Goku Sucks Podcast. Oh.
Yeah. I got a lot of bones to pick with that saying.
What
Definitely
are you saying, Marys?
Okay, we're gonna get a good post, and we're gonna talk about our 2020 favorites.
It's a very classy award ceremony.
Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, I have no money to give out awards, just appreciation from.
Oh, we never said there was a
words.
cash prize.
Oh, good. Okay, because I don't have that.
Bree, were we supposed to have a cash prize? Are we? Nobody told me that we were supposed to have a cash prize.
Just tell them. Don't worry about it.
Oh, fuck.
We'll give that. We'll do retweets.
Yeah. Okay. So in
Yeah,
lieu of a cash prize, this year we will be giving out the illustrious Bits and Pixels likes and retweets over on twitter.com.
Use your phone. Talk to us. We'll retweet it most likely. There you go. Anyway, let's get into this. Jesus. Good times. So we're going to go by category. Mm-hmm. And we are going to be hitting, I think we have 3 categories here. So we're going to be doing games, shows / anime, and comics / manga. So starting with games, I'll kick us off. This is in no particular order, and I'm just going to kind of quickly go over my top 3 for 2020. So as most of you who probably know me well enough, you can probably guess that Animal Crossing is on there. it is on there. Shock, I know. Yeah, I agree with Carlo. I feel like it should have won some more awards. It was a great
Definitely.
game. I still love it. It really helped me through, I think, last year. And I have the most hours in that game. I think I'm probably close to 500 hours.
Mm.
So yeah, definitely a top one for me. Newer game that I didn't expect to have on this list, but Genshin Impact really, I feel like, swept me off my feet as well as my other co-host here since September when it came out. It's a great game. Got a lot of good waifus and husbandos. Gotta love it. And then my last favorite that I'll give for this category is Pokemon Shield. That was actually my first game on the Switch. I just got the Switch actually in 2020, so Switch overall favorite of the year. But Pokemon Shield was my first game. I'm a big fan of Pokemon. As probably a lot of people know, they have their 25th anniversary going on, so I hope there are more Pokemon games coming to us soon. We know that Snap is coming, so that'll be exciting. But
that trailer that they released today was really cool.
yeah, it was.
It was just okay. So just to
You want to get
interject,
into this?
yeah, it's just no. I remember some that why this is like, man, Pokemon Snap is so good. Why didn't they do that for Sword and Shield? And I'm just like, I'm not even complaining. It's coming out anyways because I wanted that since like summer, fall last year. I'm just glad it's coming out. Like, honestly, one of the best. Okay, super stupid game on the N64, but nostalgia reasons, it works out really great, and I really liked it. It's like it's such a lovable game. You could literally beat it in like 15 minutes, like if you really tried hard enough.
I think
20, but
I think my fear for this new Pokemon Snap game is that it will be that when it comes out, it'll be a lot like what original Pokemon Snap was, which is, I'm sure, a cornerstone and a piece of nostalgia in all three of our childhoods, and probably many of the people that are watching or listening to this. My fear is that we'll get our hands on it, and it'll end up being that thing of like, oh, yeah, this is definitely has that same feel of an, you know what I mean? Like, it's like or maybe our nostalgia might accidentally be clouding like our actual like judgment of like how it actually is. That's my biggest fear. I'm hoping that it is like as good as we remember the original Pokemon Snap was when we were kids. But yeah.
I know it's like it's not SYB Caraway. Like, I know it's not. It wasn't on rail. It's not on rails. Like, it's not generally on rails. Like, some of them are. Like, especially in the original one, it's like you're kind of on that whitewater raft ride at like Disney World, where they have like those barriers at like the sides just to keep the log, like your boat, quote unquote, to like stay in the lines inside of this of the river, so you're going the right direction. I think that's what they did with like Pokemon Snap, and I'm pretty sure they're doing that again because I mean, like, that makes so much sense.
That's what it looked like from that trailer, is that it looked like it was going to be on rails again, which that's what I wanted. I think for me personally, I want it to be that on rails experience of the classic. That I don't want it to be like there's an open world where you can ride around and take pictures of Pokemon, and I don't think that's really what I want. I want that on rails. I want it to be like Nintendo 64 Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, like, and honestly, like, I enjoyed, like, there's some of the parts where, like, when you're doing like the water portions of it, like, you had a little bit of free range to do stuff, but like but it actually gave more sense to like, I'm gonna open up a secret passage to catch Snorlax's big ass stomach for like the 47th time. Like, you gotta like throw an apple at this one thing so like the squirrel can appear, and then Bulbasaur's like there to screw someone's life over, and Vileplume's like, what the hell's going on? All because you threw an apple and you get to go into the Batcave. Like, I thought that was really cool. Like, that's not really what happened, by the way. But like, I just thought it was really cool how that, like, it was pretty innovative on the N64 alone.
Right.
Like, because you had that sense of straightforwardness, but you still had different pathways and different secrets based on the toys that you had. Like, oh man, I'm gonna throw this. It was the B button. It was like the mace ball where you just threw it and like that poison cloud comes out, and like
Mm-hmm.
you kind of hated yourself because you threw it at Psyduck and
Right.
you're like the worst person in the world. But I thought it was really cool that, with the tools that you had, you get to just kind of go around and do, multiple things. You got to trigger a lot of things and you got to actually get some of the really cool pictures. I mean, for what it's worth, like it's those pictures, like at the time when you're a kid, they look really great. We look at it now, it's just like, oh man, this is some simple shit. But like I'm hoping that they bring back that immersive world in better graphics, in that Nintendo Goofy style graphic.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Lots of hopes. I do have 2 honorable mentions in the category, so I just want to say those real quick. So, indie game, honorable mention, The First Tree. That was a really cute game. It is only like a 2 to 3 hour long gameplay, but it has a really beautiful story. So, that had a significant impact on me. And then late in the game, Age of Calamity.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start playing that till December, but I think it definitely deserves some spotlight here for me.
Cool.
Yeah. Good choices.
Cool.
On to the next.
It's a good list. So I guess I will go next. I went ahead and just picked these were my top 5 games. These are not my top 5 games. I missed one. How did I miss this one? This was my number 3 game of the year. So I guess I'll go ahead and mention my top 6 games then. Call of the Sea. That was my number 1 game of the year. It was a very, very late edition, a really late game for me to pick up. Absolutely fantastic, tight 5-hour experience that I played all through Xbox Game Pass on PC. I am going to keep on beating this drum. Game Pass is the best deal in gaming. Honestly, $15 a month to have Game Pass on PC, console, Xbox Live Gold. If you have an Android device, you can do Project xCloud and stream games directly to your phone to play with a controller. It's a stupidly great deal. I've talked about Call of the Sea on the podcast before. It's a very tight narrative experience. I'm not going to go too much into it. My number 2 game of the year, as I'm sure everybody knows, Genshin Impact. Again, don't want to go too deep into that because we've talked a lot about Genshin Impact. My number 3 game of the year, the one that I forgot to put on this list, is Hades. Shout out to Hades. That game rules so much, especially as somebody who was a young nerd that loved Greek mythology, playing in that space, playing as Zagreus, going through. And for me, it'll have a special place in my heart because it was the game that I obsessively played as my stream game when I really decided that I was going to get into streaming. And it was the game that helped get me to 50 followers on stream, on Twitch, on my personal channel, that allowed me to become an affiliate. I haven't jumped back into the game since it hit 1.0. I was playing it all while I was still in the early access part of the game. So I have not played it since it hit 1.0, but I've played probably 40 hours of that game, and it is just absolutely phenomenal. Next one, number 4 on my list, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Game that's going to hold a special place in my heart as the first game that I have ever written a review for. But also, on top of that, it's just a phenomenal game. It is a wildly crazy story. The fact that they were able to make it so that there are 13 main characters in the game who all have their own unique story, and all of their stories are incredibly important to the plot is insane to me. The battle system in that game is really fun. It's just an amazing time. Number 5 on my list, talked about it a bit earlier, but I'm going to say it again. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a rad game. That game rules. Yakuza Like a Dragon, Man, that game is awesome. And I don't see myself at this point um, getting tired of it anytime soon, and it makes me want to go back and play all the other games in the series. And then the last game in my little section that I want to highlight is Ghost Runner. Um, Ghost Runner is a game that prides itself with being not only ridiculously hard, but making you feel ridiculously cool and badass at the same time. Because it is a game where you play as a cyborg ninja armed only with a katana. And everything in that game is one hit kill, including yourself. So you get hit by one bullet, you are dead. But if you hit them with one slice of your katana, they're dead. And it turns into this situation where it's like almost like combat is almost like a puzzle in a way, where you're trying to figure out what the optimal pathway through combat is of like, okay, I enter in, I know that there's a guy right here, and right here. But this guy has a shield around him, and the shield generator is all the way up here. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to run in here, avoid this guy's bullet, wall run, jump, wall run, slice through the shield generator, jump down, slice through this guy, dodge out of the bullet, because at that point he's going to turn around and shoot. Like, it's one of those things that you're just going to keep on doing it over and over and over again until you understand like the it's like a rhythm puzzle action game. It's so hard to explain. But like when you finally get it and you finish a combat encounter, oh man, you just feel like the coolest person that has ever existed. Ghost Runner is a phenomenal game. It's infuriatingly hard, but it's so good. And that's really it for my list as far as games go that I really want to shout out.
I don't think I've ever heard of Ghost Runner. I swear to God, Maze Runner. Never mind. Sorry, I watched Maze Runner last month, aka last year. I watched that a bit ago. That's why I was very confused. Like, what are you? I've never heard of that. I'm gonna check that out later. If you put a link somewhere. Man, I guess honestly, the best co-op game of last year was for me was Genshin Impact, because like it was a way for me to honestly just hang out with you guys and talk about stuff. Fighting games, honestly, like it was gonna be Smash Ultimate, but then Nintendo on those Nintendo shenanigans, and Maximilian Dude, with other people, I believe, decided, hey, we should have this fighting game tournament online, and that drew like a ton of views, and it was for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Why do we not like Infinite? It's because it's not that great, which is why a lot of people kind of shifted back over to Ultimate 3. And the game itself was it's super great as a fighting game. And like there were a lot of other fighting games that came out last year, like I believe Grand Blue Fantasy came out, and that was also really great too. I just think community-wise, I mean, Grand Blue's got a lot. Well, it'll have its day, but community-wise, Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3 definitely takes the cake in terms of fighting games and how well it did last year. Story games was between P5 Royal and the Somnium Files, and I just chose P5 Royal because I have ADHD, and I don't know how I was able to go through 170 hours of pure gameplay of one playthrough. Like that, Atlas did a great job with Royal. Scramble's coming out next month. And also the Lin and Izumi, who had responded to my tweet, by the way, after the Game Awards, after her performance for the Strikers version, the Scramble version, I think it's Strikers, of Last Surprise, which is one of the main themes of battle themes from Persona 5. So yeah, and so Persona 5 Royal, just like it's such a great game, and if you haven't had the chance to play it, it has such a great story, great VA work. That definitely takes the cake. Best phone game that I spent so much time on was Epic 7. Gotchas. And then music is Osu, and it's been a bit, but the reason I chose Osu instead of Melody of Memories, because Melody of Memories is honestly, that was actually a surprisingly really good game, even though it may seem like a cash grab, but when in terms of actually like kind of putting everything together, I thought it made sense, and I thought it was really great. I just think Osu just had more like it had more of a challenge than Melody of Memories, and I think a lot of the rhythm games, like there's always going to be that one that just stands atop of all of them. Like even the Miku Hatsune games are eclipsed, in my opinion, by Osu. So Osu being one of those good on PC melody games that does so well. So I mean, and I have my runner-ups, the Somnium Files and Three Houses, and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Fire Emblem Three Houses. I think last year was their like first full year, probably their first year, and honestly, like they had a lot of like signings during the pandemic for like the house leaders, Tara Platt, Chris Hackney, and Josie Aja, um, who are the house leaders in Fire Emblem Three Houses. So Edelgard, Dimitri, and Claude. There we go. So I can remember names. And so they had that too. The Somnium Files, which by the way, Keiji Tang, I think he's the voice of Ichiban in Yakuza. He also has 2 voice roles in the Somnium Files, and both of them are pretty prominent.
Oh, are they?
So yeah, and he has such a great range. I love the guy. I love his work. He's such a great guy. He's also Ike in Smash, I believe. No, that's Greg Chan. Never mind, that's Greg Chan, who's the main protagonist in Somnium Files. But yeah, KG Tang he also did the voice of Archer in Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works.
I'm not gonna lie, you said Archer, and my first thought was Archer, like the adult cartoon show, and I was like, H. John Benjamin. Wait, what?
Oh no, Mother. It's time for tea, Mother.
Millhouse.
So yeah, those are the games that I personally enjoyed over the past year.
Not Millhouse, that's Simpsons.
Yeah. Woodhouse.
Woodhouse, thank you. My brain's made a mush.
It's okay. It's like what, 10:30? Well, 9:30 for you guys. Just so I could kind of like continue on and I don't have to talk for another like 5 more minutes. The manga I've been reading, the anime and manga I've been reading. The anime, excuse me, that I've been watching were the Uzaki-chan anime, and I honestly, with as much flack as it got, I personally liked that one. Like it did okay. Like people were just being stupid. Violet Evergarden is probably gonna be the number one out of the ones I had posted, only because, especially after being stuck in pandemic, and then we got chances to kind of like hang out with a lot of the VAs online. Through like either signings and stuff like that, or like even a lot of them actually started doing stuff on stream. I thought like Violet Evergarden, if you haven't had the chance to do so, it was basically a young girl was just drafted into the forced to go into the military, and she loses both of her arms, and so now she kind of just lives trying to find a meaning of life. And I thought it's such a sweet anime. I literally cried at the end.
I wish I was there with you. So I tried to watch Violet Evergarden this year because I was so on a weekly basis on Friday nights I go over to my friend CJ's house and we pick an anime that we're going to watch. Usually we'll watch all the way through it and then we'll pick our next show. And so at one point, both of us were like, you know what? We need a good anime to cry to. And so we decided that we were going to watch Violet Evergarden because we had heard all about like, oh man, Violet Evergarden is so sad and it's going to make you cry and everything. And we both sat there, we went and we got some wine. We sat down, we poured some glasses of wine and we're like, all right, let's get ready to cry. And both of us felt nothing watching that show. And I was so upset. I was more upset at the fact that I didn't feel anything watching that show than what I actually felt watching the show.
Did you actually did you guys just binge the entire season, or? I
think we watched like the first 3 episodes.
Oh dude, yeah, no, you got it tugs at you a little bit if you don't feel anything, it usually gets people within like close to the midway, and then you're a little bit before the end. There's just a lot of parts where it's just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Without any going into details, it's really hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are just my things on that. I ended up getting Detective Pikachu for Christmas, so I got to watch that. For because of Sephiroth, the advent of Sephiroth coming out, I got to rewatch Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. Honestly, such a great movie
Hmm.
as well. Kind of just after the whole Final Fantasy VII story. I got to watch Fate Grand Order, which is also not a phone game. It's also an anime
Hmm.
based on the Fate Stay Night series. And if you guys don't know the Fate Stay Night series, yeah, there's a lot to digest and unpack. But that is part of the chronology, if you will. It's one portion of the time of a timeline that does kind of branch in a lot, tries to take in a lot together. Ordinal Scale, I believe, Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, that honestly for the mainstream stuff, that was probably my favorite of the year because I think that came out earlier in the year 2020. I think, but I got to watch it like in February. I think it's been a while, but I watched it. I swear to God, I did. Um,
I don't
but that
know.
because it came out in English, and I thought that was really cool because like I think it took them like a year-ish to do, or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but I got to watch that finally this past year, so I was kind of excited for that, and it was honestly really good because that kind of like led into Sword Art Online season 3, which that was also pretty great too. So yeah, those are all from me on that end for because I also binge watched all of Sword Art Online season 3 because after the movie, so like I finally felt good getting caught up on that. But those
Right.
are just I'd say those are the things that made me feel great anime wise in 2020. So just passing it on to you guys and
Hmm.
stuff.
Bree, if you want to go next.
So this was a really weird thing for me to put on my list. I think our first episode, I said I'm not really a Star Wars fan.
Hmm.
I love The Mandalorian. Just put it's so good. I know there's some people who are super fans of the Star Wars series who might not like it. I am not one of those people. I really love The Mandalorian, and I am very excited for another season. As well as there is I can't give spoilers, but there's something else
Yep.
coming in the future.
Yep.
Um,
I know what you're
that
gonna
looks
say. I know what you're gonna say. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. So I was shocked that this is on my list, but it was a good show.
It was.
Yes.
um, yeah.
God,
So
that yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm very shocked because I never liked Star Wars. So here we are. I'm shocked.
I
Oh my
and I
god.
saw that in the notes. I was like, "Oh my god, I am a Star Wars fan." I was like, "I thought you weren't a Star Wars
I
fan."
know.
I was very confused when you wrote that. I was like, "I'll just whatever. She'll probably surprise everyone."
Yes, I know. And now I'm like actually interested in the movies because I've watched them all, but it's been some time and I never had been like a crazy fan. So for
Bree,
this to
you should watch Clone Wars and
I
Rebels.
have.
Well,
I
you've watched
have.
both. Okay, cool, 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 cool.
We're on Rebels right now.
Rebels is so
So
good.
Oh,
I
good.
love my husband is more of like the Star Wars fan of the household, so he's actually watched more of both of those seasons than I have. But from what I have seen of Clone Wars, I do really like it. And we're getting through Rebels right now, so
Rebels is so good.
yeah, I am somehow turning into a Star Wars fan. Here we are. Um,
2021, the year of Bree becoming a Star Wars fan.
It's like
and
a
a
new
sports anime fan. I don't
Yes.
know.
yeah, and it's
By
like new year, new you, and you're really taking it
I
literally.
guess so.
by
I
the end
really
of the
am.
year, she's gonna get a tattoo that is the Rebel Alliance logo with like a volleyball like position behind it.
Huge side note, by the way, I was watching Birds of Prey. It was that DC movie.
I haven't seen
Just
it yet.
it's really good, and I swear to God, anything that Ewan McGregor touches turns into gold.
Ewan McGregor's
Because
amazing.
yeah, he's the villain in the movie, and he's really good.
He plays Black
Like,
Skull in that
wow.
movie, right?
Yeah, he plays. He's an asshole, but he's really good at it. Like just like watching that Christopher Robin movie, the live action Winnie the Pooh movie, where
I
he was
did
Christopher Robin. Like yeah,
I didn't see that movie, but I know, like, I remember seeing trailers for the Christopher Robin movie and being like, "Oh my god, I am going to cry my eyes out watching this
I
movie."
I did. If it makes you feel better, I did. I definitely did, and I was like, because it's so sad. Anyways, but yeah, Star Wars is great. If you haven't had the chance to do so, you should totally check because just I
Yeah.
think it was I think I said this last time. Just check out the Obi-Wan thing. Apparently, that was reported to come out, or they're starting stuff on that.
Yeah, if you can get if you don't have it and you can get someone to get you a login to
To,
watch it for Disney Plus, I
mhm.
definitely recommend it. Don't buy, just get it off of someone else. Don't buy it. It's just find a friend who
If you're
already has
nice
it.
enough, maybe shoot them a couple bucks. Don't be that
Yeah,
mooch, but
Hashtag freeload 2021.
I mean,
it's like that's where my stimmy
um,
is going, guys. That's
yeah,
$600
right.
Netflix. Anyways,
Speaking of getting teary-eyed, I have three anime from my favorites list that in various ways have either hit me in the feels or actually made me sob my goddamn eyes out.
Mm-hmm.
I
So
see the list and I want to cry too
oh
because two of them
uh,
made me cry for sure.
okay, I'm
Oh
interested to
no!
hear which ones. So
Oh,
first off, uh Fruits Basket got a reboot. Thank goodness. The original anime series is really great. I grew up watching it. It made such an impression on me that like when the reboot came around, I was so flippin' excited. I have yet to read the manga because it is kind of hard to find out in the ether, and I can't get
In
it
the
for
wild.
free in the wild. You have to like find all the volumes and buy it, and I just don't have the money to buy it 20 plus volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, love the series to death. Reboot came out. It is amazing. We got so much more content that we didn't in the first series because the first series hard stopped season 1 and
Mm-hmm.
just stopped producing episodes. I don't know the full story. I think something may have happened with the creator. I'm sure there's something online that can explain that because I think there was something that have occurred during that time that they had to stop producing the anime, but it's back. It's so much stronger. The art style is a little bit different. The just everything about it I am absolutely in love with. I love all the characters even more. I don't like some of the characters, a couple of them now that I did like in the first series. And what's interesting about this reboot, from what I understand, again, I didn't read the manga, I hear that it's more true to the actual manga series. So that's really cool. And
yeah, I
there
was
are
gonna
some
say, did it
twists and
pull?
turns.
It pulled the final. It pulled the Full Metal Alchemist thing where they had Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that just became so much better than the first one.
Mm,
So I kind of have high
yes.
hopes for it, and I didn't even like Fruits Basket. I just have high hopes for it at this point.
Yeah, and it's funny. So again, I was like young when the first one came out. I was in seventh grade, so my tastes have changed a little bit. I still love like some the same characters that I did back then, but like the flip that I made, I used to really like oh my gosh, is it Shigeru? Why can't I think of his name? The dog. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. I used to really like him in the first series. In the reboot, I don't like him as much, and there's reasons for it, and you'll have to watch it to find out. It is really good. Season
Shigure?
3's, yeah, Shigure.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
I'm
Um,
looking at it right now.
thank you so much. Yeah,
No
I
problem.
forgot the A on it. What was I gonna say? So season 3 is coming out this year, so I'm very eager. Um, Second on my list of sad animes. Well, this one was actually sweet. It did have some heartfelt moments where you felt you really wanted to push the character in to feel more confident. But it's a Kimi ni Todoke. Um, have you seen it, Carlo? Yeah.
It's about Sawako or Sadako, right? The girl with the long hair looks like Ring.
Yeah, so the Japanese film Sadako, where it's like the long black hair, which is the Ring in the US, Scared
Yeah.
Scary. So
Mhm.
her real name is Sawako, but everyone kind of makes fun of her because she's got the long black hair. She's really thin and slender, and they call her Sadako, and she just kind of goes with it. And she goes with what a lot of people say about her, and she's I think she's very innocent, so she doesn't really understand what people are saying. But she starts to come like it's like a coming of age, like slice of life, super super sweet. There's like some comedic parts to it, but you really like I felt really really attached to the characters. And there's a lot of complexities within like a love triangle thing going on. But there's like the relationship part, but within like a love interest, but there's also like friend relationship that develops, which is just really really sweet. So there's some really heartfelt moments that made me get a little teary-eyed.
It's really cute.
It's very
It's
cute.
really cute.
Yeah, I feel like I was satisfied with the last episode, but I definitely wanted more. I'll say that. And then before my honorable mention, this anime like I will say it's probably pretty close to my number one. Again, none of these are in order. I don't really know where I would place them, but this Clannad is my favorite. One of my favorites. Also, the saddest. I cried the most at this show. Cried so damn much that I'm mad and I'm heated now, but I'm happy. I don't know. Too many emotions. It starts out it starts out one way and it ends another. And there's a very like there's kind of like a mystery side to it too. There's like an overarching like theme to it that doesn't really get revealed until the second season. Season 1, season 2 are both very good. Season 2 is where I lost my shit and all the tears came flowing out of my eye sockets.
There was a side story to that called Tomoyo After, which I don't know if you saw that one, but it was basically if main character goes for Tomoyo instead. It was like that different pathway, but she was like,
Yes.
yeah, she was the like the second choice
Mm-hmm.
after main person in which is who is chosen, which that yeah, and I agree. Gosh, that yeah,
It's so damn. It's so,
so
I
so
literally
sad.
sat on my couch after it, like during season 2. I probably have at least two-ish, 3-ish hours worth of tears
Oh,
from
geez.
that
Yeah. Yeah,
from that show, at least.
I don't even blame you.
Yeah. Whew. I want to watch it again, but then again, I don't. So I'll probably save it for another time to rewatch it. Thank you to whoever just highlighted this in our show notes. I
That was me.
forgot.
That was me.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Kyle. I almost flippin' forgot. Clannad, yes, number one sad, heartfelt anime, but fucking Demon Slayer. Number one for me.
I had to
I didn't say
highlight.
there wasn't. Yeah.
I had to highlight and make sure you talk about this because one, I know how much you love it, but also two, because I love it a lot and it made it onto my list, so it made it a really good transition for us to be able to talk about it. And that's like talking about Demon Slayer was one of the ways that you and I became friends in the first place.
Yeah, actually, that's true. I feel like we started off our friendship talking like through memes and gifs of, excuse me, of Demon Slayer. Yeah, yeah, that was a special part of like watching the show as well. This this show I feel like is on a lot of people's top lists, especially
Yeah.
with Mugen Train that came out in Japan, and that surpassed Spirited Away, which is like mind blowing.
That
Yeah.
blows my mind.
Yeah,
Because you
nuts.
have
yeah.
to be very good to like. You had to have been a very good like. If it beat Spirited Away, it's a damn good movie.
Yeah,
Like just
we could
straight up.
yeah. I mean, we could definitely talk more about like the reasons why. 'Cause I
Sorry.
think no. I didn't. Sorry about that.
No.
there's there's a lot of interesting articles out that I think we covered in our last episode that was talking about like I think a lot of it has to do with the pandemic too. But
Yeah.
that being said, yes, Demon Slayer is number one, probably followed by Clannad for me. I actually sometimes when I just need something to like cheer me up, which if you know Demon Slayer, you're probably like, "Ooh, there's a lot of fighting and blood. Like, how would it cheer you up necessarily?"
How demons and slaying? Oh boy, I
Yeah,
hope it's all
yeah.
hands and
Right.
good times.
Specifically, I sometimes go back and rewatch episode 4, which introduces Inusuke, which is the really beautiful demon slayer
I
with
love
the
him.
the pig head. He's my favorite character, and I will watch that episode because it makes me laugh so
Yeah.
hard.
Oh,
It's such a great episode.
he's like simultaneously the best and the worst character at the same time. Like, like,
What'd you just say?
but like worst in like the.
We don't have to
Inosuke,
fight.
it's like Inosuke, please understand social cues. And like his in like
Grew up with pigs.
no, I know, but his social inability makes me, as a person who is empathetic to characters on screen, just make me go, please, please understand the situation, even though I know you're not going to.
I get that, but I think that's what makes him so lovable for
Oh,
me.
yeah.
Like I love kind of that trope a little bit in anime characters. But yes.
The
Demon
trope,
Slayer.
like, if that trope is well done, they usually produce a good character out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really seen an instant where it
he's-
failed.
Yeah, I mean he's kind of the comedic relief. There's other characters too in that show that are the manga as well. The show has some moments that like lighten it up.
Yeah.
For the viewers, and like Inosuke specifically does that for me every time. Anytime I see him on screen, I get very, very happy. I wish he had more screen time.
And I mean, like
Anyway.
the main villain is Demon Michael Jackson, so like
Oh god.
What?
no, like Brie, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I don't want to answer.
Okay. Okay.
His design,
Okay.
at least when you first meet him, looks very similar to Michael Jackson.
Now that I'm like thinking about the two, I don't know.
Oh, don't do this to me. Do not do this to me.
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but if you're comparing it to the predatory aspect,
No.
then
I'm just talking about physical looks.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, kind of.
See, with context, it makes more. Yeah. Context was important there. Anyways, yeah.
Kind of.
I'm literally about to send a picture of him in the chat.
Oh god.
Alrighty.
The main villain is just very. I'm trying to remember him in the anime, but since I read the manga most recently, like he is a very attractive looking character. He's just a dick.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. But yeah, okay. I talked about Demon Slayer a lot. I know that Kyle, you're gonna talk a little bit more about it. I do want to give an honorable mention. I already said that I was watching it. I finished Skullface Bookseller Honda-san. It had to make this honorable mention because it made me laugh the most. It's a short. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see movement now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. I can't say anymore.
Yep.
Anyway. Yep. All right. Get out of here.
Get on. All right.
Look.
I hate. No, stop. For everyone who can't see this, I'm gonna tweet this out on our account so you can also see this. But I hate you for this. This is... All right.
Anyways, yeah, no, that's a great time. I don't want to ever see those pictures again.
Thank you for burning that into my brain. And now everyone has to suffer through this because I'm going to tweet it. You're welcome. Okay, let's get into Kyle, get into your
just
favorite animes.
Kyle, just thanks for ruining our lives. Go and do your thing. Now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that,
make it snappy.
that's what I'm here for, right? Is to give hot takes about how Goku sucks, and then tell you that the main villain from Demon Slayer looks like Michael Jackson in the Smooth Criminal video.
I really hope he does the moonwalk. He doesn't, but I hope he does.
So yeah, Demon Slayer. So for people, when it comes to me with anime, I'm still of the three of us definitely the anime novice, because I didn't really start getting into anime until the past couple of years or so, just because I really wasn't allowed to watch it growing up. That being said, my picks that are on my list are a little bit more mainstream, and a lot of them are like, wow, are you really just now watching that? Yes, I am. I am just now seeing some of these. But Demon Slayer was very much a big pick for me. Like, for everything that Bree said, the characters are all phenomenal. I am very interested to see more about like what is coming in the next arc. The action scenes are always really good. The art style in that show is just beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. I don't want to talk too long about Demon Slayer since Bree was just talking about it at length. I do really love it. I just had to point out the fact about the main villain. Going from there, something that I really loved was Dorohedoro over on Netflix. The season 1, I believe, came out this year of it, and man, that show is one that I think about a lot. For those who don't know about what Dorohedoro is, it is basically all about this world that is split into two between normal people like you and I that would live in this really bad, rundown place called the Hole, and then another place where sorcerers live. And sorcerers are basically overall bad people. They come to the Hole, and they practice their magic on the inhabitants that live there. And a lot of the time, each sorcerer has their own specific brand of magic that they do. And the main character is a character named Kaiman. He is a big, muscle-bound man who has a lizard head for a head. He has appears to be under a spell, but he has amnesia and does not remember who the sorcerer is that put the spell on him, and he wants to find and kill every single sorcerer that he can find in the hopes that he finds the one that put the spell on him, and therefore turning him back into a regular person. He's got a companion named Nikaido who runs a really rundown kind of diner place. Something that I really love about this show is that there are a lot of really muscular women in this show, and I'm not just talking about like kind of muscular. Like these are like bodybuilder women, and it's awesome. It is so cool, and there's something about the show that is just so interesting about like finding out about all these different sorcerers and what their specific brand of magic is, just like the deeper lore of things. And all of the characters feel incredibly important to what the show is about. You end up meeting these two characters that are basically hitmen for like the main bad guy, but like the main bad guy also isn't really like he's a bad guy, but he's not like directly antagonizing the main protagonist. It's a very weird kind of dynamic. It's almost like two different stories going on. But the two like main, I hesitate to call them hitman. They're basically like fixers, and like the main like not lackeys, because they have a little bit more respect than lackeys. Anyway, so you've got Noe, who is one of the beautiful muscular women that I was talking about earlier, and Shin. And their dynamic is just awesome. It's very clear that they love each other. I want them to fall in love. I want it to be explicit, like not explicit. I want them to declare their love for each other on the show. Explicitly. Be very clear about your intentions with each other. Shin is really, really cool. I have said before that one of my big goals for 2021, I haven't said it on the podcast, one of my big goals for this year is to get in shape, is to lose weight, get in shape, and do cosplaying. Shin is one of the characters that I plan on cosplaying, because normally he just kind of looks like a normal dude who wears like a very like loose like black suit and wears some like white like Nikes on his feet, but then like all of the different sorcerers have like these masks that they wear, and the mask that Shin wears is like this anatomically correct heart, and it's really really fucking cool. Anyway, I and he fights with a hammer, but not like a sledgehammer. I'm talking like a regular like hammer, like a one-handed.
Oh god.
And like there's this amazing fight scene that happens really early on in the show where somebody comes at Shin with a knife. And
wait. A hammer, like
what you would use to do with like hit nails. Yeah.
Okay, why? All right, sorry, that was a delayed reaction, but I was very concerned.
There are story reasons for it. There are backstory reasons for why he uses a hammer, but there's just this amazing sequence where he's fighting with the hammer while somebody comes at him with a knife, and he literally swings the hammer around and catches the knife with the hook part of the hammer, and then breaks the knife before swinging back around and then bringing the claw end into the person's head. Like, it's so cool. It is so cool. I because I never thought about, like, how do you fight with a hammer like that? That's how you fight with a hammer. Anyway, Dorohedoro, it's a very gory show, but it's also very good. Very good, very funny, very interesting. Bakano is another one that I watched. I've talked about Bakano a little bit here on the podcast before. If you can find it, watch it. It's very, very difficult to find it. But if you can, please watch it. Also, it's one of the few... It's a show that's legitimately good in the English dub. Because it's set in, like, Prohibition-era New York City with a bunch of mafia members. And the English dub is, like, all the characters have pretty convincing New York accents. So it's just, I don't know, it's just very, very good. Yeah, if you can find yourself a way to watch Bakano, watch Bakano. Mandalorian is also on my list. All I have to say is like the second half of season 2, every single episode is banger after banger after banger. Like,
agreed.
It's just phenomenal. That's the only, like, non-anime thing I have on this list. My Hero Academia. I love My Hero Academia. It is, like, the show that I keep up with, like, the one that I keep up with on a season-to-season basis. Like, there's just a lot of really cool stuff that happened in the season that came out in 2020. The stuff with Overhaul was really, really cool. The stuff with General Criminal was really, really cool. The fucking fight with Endeavor at the very end. My Hero Academia, really good. I know it's a very, very basic, I know it's a very mainstream anime to like. I don't care. I love it.
I mean, who gives a shit if it's like mainstream? You like what you like, and also
matter,
that's a really good show.
Right.
Like,
and the animation is so beautiful. Especially in those super cinematic episodes like the Endeavor episode.
Dude, yeah, no, I agree. Like, they just do so well. Like, first season really sold it for me, right? Like, I think what's really cool about My Hero is that it's very much a... Like, have you... Like, it was like this picture of Goku, Naruto, and Luffy, and they're all just there, and they were like... It was like someone drew it, but they were like looking at Deku, and they were just like, all right, man, your turn. And Deku's like the one has the torch for like current like big shonen anime, and I was like, that's honestly really cool, because it's like My Hero Academia is just such a great... I think for the generation it is in, it's actually, it's such a great show. I can't say enough about it. Just in general, because it's so good. It's just the story, the pacing, the manga chapters, even though I spoiled it for myself, like, it's just it's great, and they don't hold back on a lot of things.
Right, I
Which
agree.
I find just super great.
And then finally, we enter the Studio Trigger section of my anime that I've watched this year that I loved. First of all, Gurren Lagann, love that shit. That shit's so good. I got a drill necklace for Christmas. That
Who the
love.
hell do you think I am?
Damn. Oh,
It's so epic.
so good. Just mwah, so good.
Can we? So wait, you watched it. So can we both agree? Can we like? Wait, Bree, have you watched it?
I have not.
All right. Okay, then Kyle,
Yep.
can we both agree that a drill is this? It's like such a sexual innuendo for like so many things. Not to go into detail.
In that show specifically, yes.
It's so funny. It's
Um,
like, this is the drill that pierces the heavens, and I'm like, God damn it! It's not to get any more like grotesque. It's such a great show, man. You chose some great shows.
it's so good. And the last thing I have is in my anime section is Promare, which is the Studio Trigger movie that came out. I don't think it came out. I don't know if it came out this last year. It is really, really good. It's the only anime movie that I watched this past
Can you
year.
tell me, like, can you tell us, like, what, like, just a quick, like, one paragraph of just what it was about again? Because I
Okay.
wanted to watch it, I just hadn't had the opportunity.
So basically, like similarly to My Hero Academia, people got to a point where basically there was an evolution that happened in some period in some portion of people. Except this evolution that happened was a highly destructive force. Basically, it's this internal like combustion that kind of comes through, and they call themselves the Burnish. And basically, the Burnish end up becoming ostracized by other people. So they end up forming like the Burnish basically created terrorist organizations that are basically fighting for their own rights and everything like that.
So X-Men.
Yeah. And so the main focus of Promare ends up being about basically basically a team of firefighters who end up basically like they are firefighters that also kind of pilot mechs, and it is.
It can't be a Studio Trigger movie or show without mechs.
Yes.
In fairness.
The art style is some of the most gorgeous animation that I have ever seen. It is. The music is phenomenal, and there's a moment in it that I don't want to ruin that that legitimately made me laugh so hard that I cried. And it's intentionally funny. You can tell that it's intentionally funny. It's ridiculously good. Yeah, go watch Promare. Like Carlos said earlier, it's on. I believe it's on HBO Max now. If it's not, it's going to be on there within the month. That movie's rad. That movie's rad as fuck. I think about that movie probably on like a weekly basis. But yeah, and just to go into our next section, the comics and manga, because mine is the shortest of the three of us. I'll go ahead and just kind of roll into that real quick. The only manga that I read this year, and the only manga that I've read, period, was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7, Steel Ball Run. Hot damn, I love me some JoJo.
Who is the main character by chance? JoJo?
Yes. You get some really cool stuff. So part 6 is the one that if they do end up continuing the anime of JoJo, part 6 will be the next one that is to be animated. That one stars Jotaro. His daughter Jolene is the main character of that one.
Oh God.
What?
Just Jolene.
And she is So, if you don't know about JoJo, Hirohiko Araki is a very big fan of music. So much so that
Okay.
he names characters and stands and abilities after artists, songs, and albums all the time. To the point when it comes over to America, in the subtitle translation, they have to change the name of it or they'll get hit with copyright strikes. Like because
Oh my god.
because it's straight up the name of like all these different things. Like so for example, let's just talk like say so part 5 Golden Wind was the one that just wrapped up. I don't not this past year but in 2019. The JoJo for that part. Giorno Giovanna, so he's more JoJo than anything. His stand is Golden Experience, which is the name of a Prince album. You also have characters like Fugo, whose stand is Purple Haze. You've got Narancha, whose stand is Aerosmith. Yeah,
Is Dio named after the song?
he's
By,
named after Ronnie James Dio.
that is not what I thought. I thought it was
So
Rio by
yeah, so
God, who would be the artist? I couldn't remember. Sorry.
So Dio's full name is Dio Brando. He is named after Ronnie James Dio, the musician, and Marlon Brando.
I mean, that is creative. I will say.
So Jolene Cujo is the JoJo for Part 6. She is named after the Dolly Parton song Jolene.
Okay. Yeah, that was the obvious one. Yeah. Wait, what's her last name then? Jolene Cujo?
That's just the last name. It's just
Oh,
that's just the last name. It's nothing, not a reference there. It's
I thought it was a reference to the Stephen King movie, but that's
No.
just me.
no. Yeah, so part 6 is got like. So the thing is that I had already kind of spoiled myself as far as like what happens in part 6 and part 7.
Yeah.
But like I knew like the main plot, like the big plot point of part 6. I didn't really know anything about part 7 except for I knew what some of the stands were, but I didn't, and I knew like what the overall. So for those that don't know, with JoJo, you get a new main cast of characters and a new genre basically every single part. So, for example, part 5 was a mafia story revolving around Giorno Giovanna, and part 6 is about Jolene Cujo and is all about basically a prison escape. Part 7 stars Johnny Joestar and friends as they enter in a horseback race across America. Yeah, so I knew what the big major thing that happened at the end of part 6 was, but the adventure getting there was still ridiculously fun. Part 7, Steel Ball Run, that might be some of the best, like, anything that I've ever experienced. Honestly, like, it is some of the best character writing, some of the best storytelling. There's a moment in it where I realize where part of it is going, and I have to keep on telling myself, like, that when I was reading, I was like, there's no way that they're doing what I think they're doing. There's no way. And then you get to the next part, and you're like, it's pointing more and more towards the thing that I, like you said, I know you can't. I want to talk about spoilers, but I can't at the same time. I can't bring myself to talk about JoJo spoilers. Otherwise, we will never end this podcast, and that's really where part 7 goes is absolutely ridiculous, and I love every single second of it. Last thing I will leave off on talking about Steel Ball Run is so the main villain of part 7 is the President of the United States, and his name is Funny Valentine. And his stand is okay. Here's the new game show. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys a hint. And so Funny Valentine's stand is named after a song, named after an AC/DC song. What do you think the name of his stand is?
I don't know.
The name of Funny Valentine's stand is Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. And they only say it once, and then they refer to it as D4C for the rest of the manga. But my god, the fact that you would name a stand Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap is just mwah, Araki, you madman. Okay, that's all I got. JoJo rules.
Be good. Awesome. Carla, do you want to get into your?
Mine, honestly, you can go next because I started off the last one. I can end this section, so you can go ahead.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I have a couple different comics and manga in here. So I'll start off with web comics. There were two that I really enjoyed this past year. And I talked about Lore Olympus, I believe, in our last episode. Still going strong with that. Really, really enjoy that webtoon. And the style is really beautiful as well. So we're getting to some good stuff finally in that webtoon. The other one is My Deepest Secret. I haven't talked about this, I believe, anywhere before. It is a thriller webtoon. I don't want to say anymore. It's I can't explain it, I feel like, without really giving anything away. But if you have webtoon or you want to get webtoon, it is free to read. The series has taken a hiatus, so you won't miss anything if you're a little late to the game. It is very good. Let's just say that had me on the edge of my seat. Don't read that webtoon while you're like doing something that's slightly stressful, because it will make you more stressed out. I'll just say that. Okay, so now web comics are out of the way. One that I've already talked about before, Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season. I am on volume 4 right now. This was another manga that I got into a little bit later this year, but it has quickly become one of my favorite. It's really cute, very sweet. I'm really enjoying the story, and I am already like waiting to put in my hold order at the comic book store because I want the last 4 volumes. It's really, really good. It's just all around really cute, and I believe an anime is coming out for it, so I'm excited for that. Another very cute manga series, Wotakoi, Love is Hard for Otaku.
Oh, that one.
Oh, that one. There is an anime season out right now. It came out in 2018. Both. I did put the anime on my list, but it was also a one that I really, really enjoyed. The manga is just like, that series is just so adorable, and there's so, for people who are nerds or otaku or enjoy video games and what have you, you'll probably understand some like little references in that series, because all the 4 main characters have some sort of genre or series that they really, really are obsessed with. So, but it's just very cute. So, and I'm rewatching it now. So, my last few here, My Brother's Husband. It's a 2-volume series, and the books are thick. Like, it's a hardback book. I read both from the library, so luckily I was able to read those for free. It's basically the tale of a brother who is taking in his late younger sibling's husband for vacation. And he's a Canadian, the husband of the brother who is no longer with them. They make that clear in the beginning, so there's no spoilers there. Mm-hmm. But it basically kind of goes through kind of the, like, sorry, I'm like staring into a ring light, so my eyes are going a little. I'm like, what is it talking about? Yeah, just basically how Japan deals with gay couples, and they are definitely not at the same uh like of understanding that we are. Obviously, we there's a lot of issues of homophobia in the US, but I would say Japan, from what I have read, and especially with this manga, the mangaka makes it pretty clear that there's some differences between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting because the deceased husband was Japanese. He moved
Mm,
to Canada and married his Canadian husband.
mm,
So you kind of get both sides of the story, from how the Japanese spouse experienced things, how his brother, um, who is hosting the husband now, and it really breaks down some of those barriers. It's a really great story. I definitely recommend it. Um, and then my favorite manga in terms of being hilarious is The Way of the House Husband. Kyle, you've talked at length about Yakuza Like a Dragon.
mm,
This manga series is basically a ex like head Yakuza
mm.
member turned into a house husband, and
Amazing.
is yes, I think
I'm in.
yeah, you need to read it. It is literally like I'm sitting in the corner, like on the couch in the living room, and I'm busting out laughing while reading a
Good.
manga. It's so good. Um, and then last but not least, my number one, and this is not a shock, Demon Slayer. Uh, as I said earlier, I read the entire series in a few days. I read the physical manga. I read up to like volume 11 because I was able to get it again from the library. But then they don't have the rest. So a girl had to do what she had to do. So I got the Viz app.
Mm.
I read all those volumes. I am not going to say too much about the story,
Better
but
not.
I'm not, because there is a lot that happens. And you'll get a taste of that with Mugen Train when we finally get that. One thing I will say, because I don't know how common it is for someone to love the manga as much as they love the anime, but I
Mm.
love both of them equally. They're you can see how the art style is like exactly the same, and beat by beat the fighting scenes in the anime are just as good in the manga.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you would think like, oh, well, they don't have that much space, like it's flat, like how can you really get across this huge fight scene between demons and demon slayers? The mangaka does that. It is just absolutely phenomenal. Like I'm turning pages, well, flipping through pages and like holding my breath because I'm like, what is going to happen next? What is going to go on? It's that good, and the comedic relief that you get in the show, you also get in the manga. It's really good. So
Yeah, the way
yeah.
that you described like loving the manga and the anime with Demon Slayer is probably about how I feel with when it comes to JoJo. It's
Mm-hmm.
just like loving them in like an equal amount.
Yeah, it's really good.
All right.
But that's it for me. Go ahead, Carla. Wrap it up for
Yeah.
us.
Well, let's wrap this section up then. Okay, so the Nagatoro thing I was talking about because I have a problem and I really like romantic comedies. I'm such a sucker for those for sure.
Not a
Uh,
problem.
the Midnight Poppyland had its final chapter of the season. The artist Lily Dusk, the artist and author Lily Dusk hasn't had something come out yet for this new year, so we're currently waiting. I think she's taking a break, which duly, like, as she should. Such a great story, great art too. So looking forward to season 2 when that comes out. Where do I read it actually? Just type in Midnight Poppyland. It's a great time. It's it's like the webtoon or something. I don't know. I read it on my phone before I go to bed. Crimson Karma is a manhwa from Korea that I personally enjoy, because I don't know, it's like a weird isekai version where like the main character, she ends up dying in a war, um, and but in her original personality was that of like a cold, heartless, like jackass, where she's just kind of like killing people because it's her job and her duty, but then she kind of gets betrayed and gets shot at that period of time. But at that moment, she gets sent to another world in a different body, but same personality, but now she's just curious about things. And so she's put into, but she's again in a war where I have no, like nobody really, she has no idea what's going on, but mages and stuff. So yeah, so it's a really good, it's really great, and like super duper strong willed person, great protagonist, and I think that's like it has a pretty solid backstory for all the characters. So I mean, like aside of like comics and the manga I've been reading, that's honestly probably some of the most prominent ones that stick out in my head. Honestly, 2020 is yeah, it's 2020 is like I try to forget about 2020, but I do remember some things, and those things that I remembered were those. So yeah, Nagatoro, which is going to be coming out with an anime this year, and I'm super excited. Crimson Karma, the manhwa, and Midnight Poppyland, if you guys have a chance to do so. Those are just my small choices. And just to end it right there.
All good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you want to wrap this up, guys?
We are going to do a very quick list of just a couple things that we're interested in for 2021. And then we will sayonara off this podcast. But if there was anything from our 2020 list that you also enjoyed, let us know by either entering a comment below where you're watching this, or you can also interact with us on Twitter. Just throwing that out there because we definitely love talking about anime, manga, and video games. So
I hate it.
Well, get off. Bye. Goodbye, sir. Take your hot takes of Son Goku that you hate. Get out.
These are the hottest takes of Son Goku I ever did here.
It's all a facade.
I tell you what.
Yeah, basically. I hate it here.
I hate it here.
Oh man.
Yeah. So let's wrap up. Let's just kind of list off what we got here for looking ahead to 2021.
Yeet.
Yeet. I think I can talk for most of us here. Demon Slayer, the movie, Mugen Train.
2/3 majority, but like I'm an abstaining, but I will be totally okay with it regardless.
I'll just say, we'll list the rest. I'll just say, if you do really like the series, this movie is a continuation of the series. It's not like a separate arc or a separate storyline. So you probably want to watch it. Anyway, I am really hoping that we get Breath of the Wild 2 for Zelda's 35th anniversary.
Yes.
It would make sense. But who knows with Nintendo logic.
I mean, it's Pokemon year this year, I suppose.
It's Pokemon and Zelda, like, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's a lot of stuff.
I hope Zelda fans win, but you know, we'll see. And then last for me, one of my favorite mangas, The Way of the House Husband, is getting a anime adaptation on Netflix. It also looks very good, so I'm very excited.
I will watch it.
Please do.
You sold me on it.
You'll love it. I really think you will.
And then the only thing that I have listed for something that I'm looking forward to, I've kind of stopped doing like the looking forward to specific games and specific years at this point, because I don't like to try to generate hype up for myself, because then I don't have any expectations for anything, and then I can let things surprise me. But the only thing that I am looking forward to is there looks like there's going to be some kind of event in, I believe, March or April for JoJo. Not quite sure what they're supposed to be announcing. They're the two big things that they're talking. There's rumors that they're going to be confirming is that a new possible JoJo movie could be coming out, which would be a original movie, and it seems to be implied that it would be like some kind of crossover events with all of the JoJo's from parts 1 through 5 teaming up together, which would be insane for a lot of reasons. Also, there's also rumors that at that same event they will finally confirm that the the JoJo Part 6 anime will be coming. Those are both rumors. There's an event. The event is coming. Don't know what they're going to be talking about at the event. And then, as far as confirmed things go, continuing on with the JoJo train, you have Thus Spoke Kashibe Rohan. That's a mini series that's coming to Netflix. It's based off of a spin-off light novel that Araki wrote about one of the characters from JoJo Part 4. I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be really cool. It's going to be a Netflix exclusive, which is really funny because Part 4 is not even on Netflix currently. So, but they've got this series about one of the characters from it. I don't know. That's weird, but that's what I'm looking forward to.
I'm gonna be just quick about it on my end as well, since I'm looking forward to Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8. That's gonna be coming. The showcase for the new Resident Evil is gonna be coming out on the 21st. That is next week on the 21st. I think that's a Thursday. I almost said the wrong one. So that's on a Thursday. And you can check out their Twitter, hashtag RE Showcase. If you want to get more information on that, check out Twitter. I'm looking forward to League of Legends and Riot Games actually shifting away from the traditional format of what general sports were, and they're going to actually start paving the way for the nice blueprint for what esports should be and how it should work. And I'm actually hoping, because that's going to definitely affect esports going forward. Talking about esports recruitment for collegiate stuff. So if you have or you know someone who is looking to go to college and would like a scholarship to compete at the collegiate level, please check out Albion College esports team. That's the Albion College Brits esports at on Twitter at Brits_esports. But yeah, we are looking to compete fall 2021. So if you guys are interested in doing so, just hit me up on Twitter at Pinoy95, or you could check out the Twitter that I had just posted, just talked about earlier. And then, yeah, the Nagatoro anime, I'm kind of looking forward to that too. So yeah, those are. Oh, and Persona 5 Scramble, that's coming out next month.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited for that. I'm ready to just destroy my enemies with Arsene. I'm super excited about that. So yeah.
Sweet.
Amongst
Well, that is our 2020 looking into 2021 episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in and supporting. Again, if you agree with any of these lists, let us know. But we definitely appreciate your support. It really does mean a lot. If you want to find this podcast elsewhere, you can find the full audio version wherever you like to listen to podcasts. You can also view the video version on YouTube. So we'll have all the information in our description below with links. It would be great if you want to continue supporting us. You can leave us a comment on YouTube, write us a review. Give us a follow on Twitch, because this is where we do our live episodes.
I got this, Brie. I got this. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that heart button on Twitch. Follow us on Twitter. Dab on the haters. Yeah. All right. We're all good.
Sums it up. I mean,
yeah.
You did that really great.
I want that to become a normal part of us signing off, is Carlo going into monster truck rally voice, telling people what to do, and then me and Bree just doing random things.
Just hear the explosions in the background, every time I say something. Follow on Twitter. Just do that.
I need to get a soundboard and start just doing air horns and stuff.
Oh, beautiful. That would be so beautiful. God.
Oh, I've thought about it.
That's amazing. Yeah, so Carla, this is your job from now on, but I will end with saying, if anyone has any questions or anything that you would like to continue chatting to us about, you can do so by writing us an email. I know that's a little old school, but we do have an email. It's bitsandpix, Pixs, at gmail.com. And if you feel like leaving us a question or any recommendations that you have, because we're always interested in those, just go ahead and put question or recommendation in the subject line, and we will try to answer that in our next podcast. But yeah, that be it. Super, super grateful. Thank you for tuning in to episode 3. We will see you on the next episode.
That's next week.
That's next week, nerds. So get on that and make sure you're following us on Twitter or Instagram, because I always let y'all know when we're going live. So I don't know why I had an accent with that. Just take it as it is. We'll see you next time, nerds. Bye.
See you later.